is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
We are ready to rock and roll. Oh, yes. Feeling good. It's a Friday. It's the weekend.
You're feeling good, man? I feel like I'm melting.
I feel good because it's a great weekend. It's a great time to be a Dolphins fan. It's a time where we're watching our favorite team, finally do things the right way and build a football team the right way. And yesterday, in making the picks that they made, they filled areas that they need. Look, this is a team that's got so many. In fact, John's here, and John was like, "What do you think?" Running back at 39, I'm like, they could go tackle. They could go, safety. They could go in so many different directions. Defensive end. There's still a couple there that are dropping. It's a beautiful thing, actually, when you think about it, because they have put themselves in a position that there are several options and good options. And at the same time, they're showing patience, which I think is extremely important because for those of you out there, if you remember when they drafted Vernon Carey, that was a panic move by Spielman, but he was a young GM there. And you see him in Minnesota, he's done a much better job overall. But he made a mistake where he gave away a fourth-round pick just to move up to give Vernon Carey, a player that I believe the Patriots really did not need. And I think that they suckered him into taking Vernon Carey because they wanted Vince Wilfork. And that's who they ended up taking, who ended up becoming, obviously, whatever it is over there that they do, Ring of Honor or whatever that crap, that kind of player for them.
Stallman for almost a decade, right?
Easy.
7 or 8 Pro Bowls.
Yeah, no, the guy was a beast. I mean, hell, we know who he is. These kind of things, and we've seen these panic moves with the Dolphins for many years in different general managers. And last night, when they had the Noah Igbinoghene or whatever the kid's name is, I got to figure that one out. When they had him in their sights, they had him at 26. And they were dead set on it, like, okay, this is the guy we want. Well, we know he's going to be there at 30. And remember when I told you last night, I looked at him like a second rounder. Okay, now, here's a scout on what's it called, the corner. He has a high ceiling. He's one of my favorite outside corners. Listen to that, okay? Because they're going to play him in the slot now. But we'll have to play nickel early to develop into a number 1 outside CB. This is a highly respected scout that I know. This guy played the game and has been scouting it for years now, okay? Knows, and I've gone to the well many times for his advice. But I mention this because this is the kind of information you're not going to get on other shows because they don't have these kind of contacts. But what I want to kind of lay the groundwork is this is a foresight pick. This is Xavier Howard. Over the next year, you need to play back to where you were at. And if he does, now they have the option of trading him for a boatload. Because right now you wouldn't be able to see some people say, hey, you're going to move X. And what did I tell you guys? You don't move X now. He's coming off a domestic issue and a knee injury. Value is at an all-time low. That's low-hanging fruit. Now you get him on the field with a pass rush, an excellent corner opposite of him, another young stud at the slot position. If you draft a safety, you're going to move Bobby McCain over. So now your nickel and dime are going to be amazing. So X will even look even better now. So now you'll build him up again. And a year from now, if you want to get a boatload of picks to help for a Trevor Lawrence trade, and then you can move this kid opposite of Jones, and then you go and draft another one. See, because what I want to kind of help you out in all of this, because a lot of you are butthurt still about Laramie Tunsil, which I don't understand that at all. They offered you 2 first-rounders and a second, and they took $8 million off your salary cap. Have them. So if they get Jackson now, and they develop him into a starter, then they replaced him with a later pick. And if this kid in the slot, and my guy is right, that he has the opportunity to become a starter, and then you can move X, what I'm trying to tell you is you now have a front office that has confidence that they can go find the next player. That's why all of this is really important right now. It hasn't happened. It hasn't developed, so we can't say for sure. But I just want to give you what I'm seeing and what could happen down the line. Okay? Let me finish here with this.
Is this kind of like insight? Like, straight up, bro, I got to give you props. When you talked about the Tua thing and the misdirection.
Oh, yes.
Straight,
yeah.
bro, I don't
misdirection.
think you could have hit it more perfect. Seriously.
And by the way, Dan Marino, you ruined it, bro.
That was crazy, man.
Dan Marino's the one that ruined it completely. Yeah. When he says Herbert's like, get the hell out of here, bro. Now
he's your kind of guy, Dan.
Get the hell out of here. You wouldn't find Justin Herbert and Dan Marino in the same building, the same freaking state. Anyway. So he could develop into a number 1 outside CB in the NFL. Aggressive around the ball, very physical and quick-triggered in the running game. Still developing his ball skills since he's a converted wide receiver. Slow to locate but competitive. Time and reps is what he needs outside since he's a convert. But he doesn't back down. Hell of a nickel inside player to start. Great kid and pick.
Sounds like he's got dog.
Well, this guy works for another NFL team. He doesn't work for the Dolphins. Okay? So he has no dog in the race. If he was he's told me when they're bad players, he'll tell me too. That's why I respect people like this. Because I don't like to deal with fluff. I'm not that guy. Give it to me straight. What's good? What's bad? Let's hear it. All that kind of stuff. I've had the guys that, when I catch you that every time it's all positive, then I go, come on, bro. Come on. Don't give me that. It's impossible. It's got to be. And what did he say? Here, he loves them, but he's slow to locate. That's one thing that he's, adjusting to. But remember, he's a wide receiver, so ball skills are going to be there naturally for you. So now it's just a matter of transitioning ball skills as a defender, not an offensive player. And that's the other thing. Look how highly respected he is, and he hasn't played the position for a long time.
What's he got, I think it's 2 years, right?
Yeah, dude, and he's playing in the SEC.
Yeah, no slouches.
I mean, come on, 14 players out of 32 yesterday came from the SEC. 14 out of 32. So that's where I'm telling you that this kid, I was even more excited after I started getting some scouting reports on the kid and how much they like him. And so now I go, okay, so obviously the Dolphins, they were going to take him at 26. And no panic. They felt confident in their information that, he'll be there 4 picks later. Let's take this 4th rounder right now, man. And that's it.
Something else we could read into? The fact that the Alabama kid and the LSU kid, safety sitting there, right? Mm-hmm. And we go to corner, and we already have 2, you know what I mean?
You can't have
that
enough.
We want cover guys. If you're in our secondary, you need to be able to cover.
And the other thing is, just so you'll know, the corner plays, the nickel plays 70 to 75%. maybe even over 75 sometimes.
It's a starter, man. That's a 1 or 2.
It used to be in the 50s and the 60s. It's now in the 70s, the percentile of your third corner. So he's practically a starter. Anybody that tells you that this is a guy that is not going to start and that's bull crap. This is a starter. Austin Jackson's a starter. And Tua eventually will be a starter. So you're not getting backups. You're not getting any kind of depth or anything like. No, you got starters yesterday. Tua, we know, wasn't going to be a starter right away. Tua may not even play this year. You know that, right? Let's get into the Tua conversation because what I just talked about rolls into Tua. And let me explain. So Tua now, you draft him, right? I don't think he plays this year. If he plays, this is my thoughts here. If he plays, it's week 15, 16, 17. The Dolphins are mathematically out of the playoffs. And the offensive line is playing really well. If the offensive line is struggling in any way, shape, or form, and you see Fitz running for his life, there is no way Tua is going back in. So don't expect Tua to play at all throughout the year until maybe at the end of the season. Then maybe they'll play him at that point.
And is that just to, get him wet and build positive toward next season? It ain't, right? Just get in, get some reps.
You want to get him wet?
Well, no, get your feet wet,
Okay, no, I'm just wondering.
You know what I mean?
Just wondering where your mind is. We're throwing him in an orgy
get his
or
beak wet,
football game. Is it an orgy or a football game? I'm just wondering. So you take Tua and you slow walk him, which is what you're supposed to do. The kid's coming back from a hip injury. You got to get him ready to take a hit. He's not ready to take a hit. I don't care what Lee Steinberg says. I don't care what Tua says. And they've been patient through all of this. And what have I been telling you for months now? If you take Tua, what should you do? Take a second quarterback. Have I not said that? Did the Dolphins not pick up an extra fourth rounder last night? I'm just saying.
And still got the guy they wanted.
Yeah. So I'm just saying that, you could end up with a quarterback there. Maybe they take Anthony Gordon. He drops there to the fourth round. Maybe they take the FIU kid. Maybe they take Luton out of Oregon State. Remember, it is a 55-man roster, not 53. Miami is not at the point where they need all 55 spots. So even 3 quarterbacks is a stretch for them. No, they could keep a fourth if they wanted to. And remember, Tua won't count on your roster, active roster, because you can actually put him on an IR for the first 10 weeks. And then that allows Rosen and whoever else you draft to kind of battle to be the backup. And when I saw that extra fourth rounder, I go, man, you can now use a fourth and a third and move up to get a quarterback again. 2 of those 2 fourths, move up into the late third or something and get yourself a quarterback at the back end tonight. If there's a little run on that second wave of quarterbacks. Yeah, we all know that, they could go Delpit, they can go Xavier McKinney, they can go DeAndre Swift, Dobbins, Akers, Moss. Tonight, they can go in so many different directions. Right? Epinesa is going to be there. There's a whole bunch of players that they're going to have available to them in that area. That's the beauty of all of this. That Miami has so many picks, and because they have so many needs, they're going to have an opportunity to fill a lot of those needs. And when I saw that extra fourth rounder yesterday, I go, last year they got 2 second rounders, deferred it to the next year, and took Rosen with the other one in the trade. So they created something out of nothing. Yesterday, they had something. They had nothing, and they created something out of nothing once again. So is that extra fourth rounder for another quarterback? I don't know. We'll see. I'm just saying that it becomes really interesting right now for the Dolphins. And everything plays into their hands, even going from 53 to 55. That's just those are two extra spots there. You're now saying, why not an extra quarterback? I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm not saying I have any inside information. I'm just telling you, it's just a smart move. And it gives Rosen legitimate competition because he's always going to look at Tua like, oh, he's not ready yet. He can't play. He can't threaten me. Rosen's the backup. It's not Tua. Tua's the third stringer right now because he has no shot at playing at all. None. I'm telling you, Josh Rosen is your backup. So what do? Draft another guy. Bring it in for competition for the backup. And then in the end, you just never know, man. The light might just go on for Rosen this year, and you're like, holy crap, what happened? And it's Drew Brees. I mean, we've been linked to Drew Brees for everything, right? We missed him the first time. We missed him the second time. Oh, my Lord, we can't miss the left-handed Drew Brees coming out. Take him. Don't take the chance. Don't pass up on him. They did it again. And now, this is a Drew Brees-like situation maybe. You draft Tua, does it light a fire in Rosen's ass? Does it make him focus like, man, I'm not getting kicked out of another franchise? You know what I mean? Because when Rosen lands on the third franchise, and that's on your resume, it's almost like you're done. You're a journeyman. It's over. Your career is, it's kind of like watching the person that gets married the third time. It could be your best friend. It could be a family member. Secretly, you're sitting in the room looking at them going, damn, they're really unlucky at love, or bad, or terrible, or irresponsible, whatever adjective you've used because you know their history, because they go from one relationship to another. So you kind of look at them and go, yeah, that's not marriage material. My cousin's not marriage material. My best friend's not. My sister, my brother, they can't keep a relationship. That would be Josh Rosen if he gets kicked out of the Dolphins and he heads to the third team. It's just a red flag right there. So that's where the fourth-round pick last night, I'm like, You know, they got so many picks, they just added another one. And by the way, the race against LSU 4, Miami 3. All right? We'll keep you updated on the rest of that later on tonight when we find out how many players Miami picks and how many LSU players go in the second and third rounds to kind of add to all of that. So when I look at Tua, it was the right pick for them. It's the gamble that you got to take. Just like Rosen, just like the next quarterback. And if there's a guy you like tonight or tomorrow at quarterback, and you say, hey, you know, that Nate Stanley kid from Iowa, he's got some to, let me pick him. Let me get Luton from Oregon State. That guy's got something to him. Let me work on this project. What the hell? And that you be what Green Bay and Ron Wolf used to do. And again, I think I've been saying this. John, you listen every day. I think I've been saying this for months now. What you saw with Chris Greer again last night, moving down from 26 and 30, picking up an extra fourth rounder. Everything he does is unlike anything we've seen in the Dolphins in 15 years. Or more, 20, since Jimmy. Nobody does this kind of stuff for the Dolphins. This is the only guy that keeps doing all this. And I got to tell you something. I think Chris Greer learned a lot by watching everybody else screw up in front of him. And I'm sure all the other people that kept him around, they read his reports like, well, this guy gives good advice. I'm keeping him around. He's going to help me. The problem is all these idiots that took over probably thought, Yeah, he gives good advice, but I like my advice better. And so that got him fired. So now Chris Greer has the job. And he hasn't stopped looking for a quarterback in 1 year. He's got you 2. Let's see if he hits on him. But what I want, I've said this for many years, I want a GM that's going to go for a quarterback every year if you don't have one. Because eventually you're going to hit. You're going to hit. But if you're going to stand there and start Ryan Tannehill and never bring any competition in and never do anything about that position, you'll never get better, and that guy never gets pushed. Well, Josh Rosen, he didn't have to wait very long for competition. He didn't have to wait long to lose his job. Because Flores looked at him and said, kid, we like you, but you're not good enough right now. Have a seat. Ryan, get in there and help us win. We're not here to tank, and I'm not here to tell these players that I'm coaching, that you sacrifice your body so we could develop this quarterback who may never develop. I'm not doing that. I'm going to play the best players, whether it's Nick Needham, whether it's Preston Williams, whether it's Ryan Fitzpatrick. I don't care if you're 40 or you're 24. I play the best player. That's the message that's sent to the locker room. And that message, it went all throughout that locker room. And that's why you saw a team get better every single week. That's why it culminated to a win against the Patriots. And by the way, maybe good karma's happening now for the Dolphins. Everybody was the tank for Tua crap, not the Dolphins, but everybody else. They didn't tank. They went to develop a team. They went through youth. They got better by the end of the year, and they still ended up with Tua. Now, it's an injured Tua. Does he stay injured? Or maybe was this a string of bad luck and it's over and now he has a string of good luck? I don't know. We'll find out. But maybe the good karma's starting now for the Dolphins. Everybody thought it was going to be the worst year, including yours truly. I thought 0 wins. They won 5. Who the hell would think that the Patriots needed the game in Week 17 and they were going to win it? So maybe things are changing here. Maybe things are changing for the better, and maybe it's because they're making really good decisions. And they're creating a culture and they're creating an environment that players want to be a part of. And I told you guys as the season went on last year that the Dolphins are now going to become the sexy destination because agents and players are going to go, hey, whatever happened the first couple weeks, that's not that franchise. Look at them now. I want to send my player there. And players are going to say, I want to be a part of that. And that's exactly what happened. Because outside of Jones, they didn't really go crazy in the salaries with all the other guys. And now you bring in all these players, and what'd you do? You brought in competition at the quarterback spot. The cornerback spot, turn off your mic, dude. The cornerback spot, you have 2 studs. You have a Bobby McCain that if you go get a safety, you can move him back to the nickel, and you develop the Nick Needham. And they said, screw that. We're going to add another corner. This is a pass-happy league. We're going to add more competition and, like I said earlier, possibly build for the future. Because you don't know what's going to happen with X. And like one of my guys said, this guy's starting material eventually. Not just, because I had him labeled as a slot guy last night. And then I'm starting to get this, no, man, this guy's got starter material in him. And you saw that scout say one of my favorite guys in this draft at that position. I really like what the Dolphins are doing. I think they're just making really responsible decisions. We're going to have now at 11:30 Blake Bedingfield. He is the former college director of scouting for the Tennessee Titans. I've known Blake for a long, long time. Really good dude. Knows his stuff, by the way. So we're going to turn the page here. We're going to talk to a pro scout, an NFL scout, who's done this for a long time, and we'll get his thoughts on Tua. We'll get his thoughts on Jackson. We'll get his thoughts on Noah, until I learn that last name. I guess we'll go Noah CB. CB Noah. Something like that. Okay? And maybe I need a little CBD for my throat. All right, let's take a break. We're coming to you live from Craig's Inns, Acura Pembroke Pines, baby. 15601 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75 in Pines. Come on by and say hi. We'll be out here till 2 o'clock. Back with more right here on The Big O Show.
Will reimburse payments up to a total of $1,800 based on purchase and MSRP on approved credit on select models. Excludes tax, tag, title, and includes $8.99 dealer fee. Offer ends 5/4/20. Toyota of Hollywood is open, and we're here to serve you. The safety of our customers and associates is our top priority. Toyota of Hollywood is following strict guidelines, including social distancing and keeping our facilities clean and sanitized. Buy with zero down, 0% APR financing, and we'll make your payments till 2021. Pay up to 50% less than their original MSRP when new and used. 2019 pre-owned Camry LE, not $27,000, $16,775. 2020 pre-owned Corolla LE, not $22,000, $13,775. Shop and save at our 400,000 square foot dealership at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2019 per SET, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
All right, baby.
This is the Big O Show.
Bill's going to get in contact with my man Blake. We'll have some fun with Blake. We'll talk all things Dolphins draft here with him. I'm looking forward to that. By the way, the support last night on and right now we're over 300 right now in the chat, and yesterday we were well over 400. I think we got to like 470 at one point. So thank you to all. The show has got on our YouTube channel like 4,000 views already. We've got 1.2 million minutes viewed in the last 28 days on the YouTube channel. That's you guys. So thank you so much in helping us grow now and take that next step so we can do this for you, every day for a long, long time to come, and give you the kind of radio that fans deserve. You know what I mean? Instead of all the BS commercials and crap and just fluff, and that's all you get from terrestrial radio. It's just, and it's not the people that are on the air. It's not their fault. It's just the people above them kind of control it, and they force them to do what they have to do, unfortunately. You know what I mean? So the people that are left over on air over there at Intercom, I have nothing but respect for them. They do an awesome, awesome job, but they're limited, unfortunately. You know what I mean? Limited from equipment to everything else. I mean, they're working for a company that's so broke, it's not even funny. But it is what it is. All right, Blake Bedingfield does an excellent job. He has been in this world of the NFL as the college director of scouting for the Tennessee Titans. I've known him for many years. You can follow him on Twitter at Blake, B-E-D-D, Blake Bed, for Bedingfield, of course. And let's bring him aboard. Blake, good morning, my man. How you doing?
Big O, it's good to hear from you, bud.
It's great to hear from you, my man. Are you safe? Everything good? Everybody corona-free?
We are corona-free in Nashville, Tennessee, so we are doing good, enjoying spending some time with the kids and the family, and but there will be a time where I'm ready to get out of the house too. But we're doing good. We're safe.
Yeah, but you know what? We don't even know if we're carrying right now, right? That's how weird it is. I just read an article. There's a model in Italy. Okay, listen to this. She had the fever, she had the corona, all that stuff, and then she got rid of the fever. And then they told her, all right, they let her out of the hospital. They sent her home. They quarantined her for 14 days. They have tested her now. She has tested positive 8 times over a 56-day stretch. So she's stuck at home now for that long because she is still a carrier. She has no symptoms, but she's a carrier. That's how weird this thing is. Even the experts don't have a real hold on what's going on. When they tell you 14 days, you're all right. Maybe you're not all right after 14 days.
It's amazing to see something like this take place, and every day is full of new information and crossing out what they learned yesterday and learning something new today, and tomorrow will be a new day as well. But, luckily we have some smart people in this country, a lot smarter than I am, that can figure it out, and I know we'll be in a better place.
Yeah, no doubt about that. We'll get there eventually. Our experts will figure it out, but it tells you that this puzzle is not easy to figure out. All right, Blake. So first of all, I thought I got to congratulate Chris Greer because I nailed it yesterday. I said this has all been a Tua smokescreen from the get-go. It's Tua. No, they like Herbert more. No, they are trying to trade up for a tackle from 5 to 3. The one that gave it away for me, Blake, was when Dan Marino says, oh, no, I like Justin Herbert. He's a lot like me. I was like, oh, dude, Dan, I've been around you for 40 years. You're nothing like that. You're Joe Burrow with the cigar after the game. Joe Burrow said the other day he could score 15 points in an NBA game. That's Dan Marino like Moxie. That's his kind of guy. And I knew right away this was a Tua smokescreen. And sure enough, so your thoughts last night on how the Dolphins did not say a damn word, which how this organization has been in the past, and how they handled this whole thing and the selection of Tua. Your thoughts on that, Blake?
Chris Greer has been in this business a long time, and he understands how to play those smoke screens, how to deflect information, maybe make his pick more valuable if need be, if some team really wanted to come up and pay a huge ransom for it. Chris Greer's been around a long time, but also the people around him, Marvin Allen, the assistant GM, Adam Ingoff, Anthony Hunt, those guys have been in this league and understand, and Brian Flores, obviously. But, Chris grew up with his father, Bobby Greer, who was a personnel executive for a long time in this league. So he's been around. He understands it. The Tua pick was outstanding, and Tua's a great player. He has outstanding accuracy, anticipation, instinct. He throws his wide receivers open. That is a rare trait in the NFL or college football, but he can throw his wide receivers open. Now, Did he have an excellent group of wide receivers to throw to? Yes, he did. But he allowed that athleticism that they had at those skilled positions, and he was able to really emphasize what they do there. But his accuracy is unquestioned. The anticipation he throws with, the only negatives on him was he's a little short. He's got the injury prone, and he refuses to throw the ball away. That's something he's going to have to learn. There's a lot of quarterbacks like that in the NFL that have held on to it a little too long. Russell Wilson is one of those, but he's learned to, avoid hits later in his career. Deshaun Watson is another one of those players that continues to hold the ball a little too long, and he's taken a lot of hits and had some injuries because of it. But that's something these young players have to learn. But Tua, if he sits this year, I think which would be a great situation for him while this team continues to build around him. But he's an outstanding quarterback moving forward, and it really has a chance to be an upper tier, top 10, top 15 quarterback for sure. Moving forward.
Blake, I was terrified of the pick because of the injury history. But one of the things why I came around a couple of weeks ago is, I've lived the project quarterbacks and all. This guy's not really a project. Sure, he has to adjust to game speed and the defenses are a little more complicated at this level. All that other stuff that every player in the world has to learn and adjust to at every position, he's got to learn. But you don't have to teach him instincts. You don't have to teach him how to pass. You don't have to teach him how to play the game. He is a real quarterback. And so that's why I understood this gamble, because the gamble is really all down to the injury history, nothing else. When it comes to the football, even the professionalism, I know he's not a professional, but the way he carries himself, the way he rehabbed, and I don't think people understand, the average fan understands how much people like you respect a player that takes his rehab as serious as the game itself.
There's no question. And this is an outstanding A++ character kid. He's going to be great in the community down in Miami. He's going to really embrace the culture. His family will be down there. It's just that kind of person that you're getting to. You're getting an A++ guy. Thomas Bird, Dr. Thomas Bird was the hip specialist that looked at his hip. Thomas Bird was the Tennessee Titans doctor, or is the Tennessee Titans doctor as well. And he is world renowned, one of the top hip specialists in the world. And if he gave him a clean bill of health, I feel really comfortable with the medicals on him. Now, there's obviously the history.
I hate to interrupt you, but did you ever run into a player that had a hip injury with the Titans and you kind of went through the same issue and you still drafted him? Or did he develop it with Tennessee and you had him look at it and he was able to overcome it? Did you ever have that example?
There are examples, and I'll tell you a player that played for Miami, Jason Allen, the defensive back. He was a player that had one of those similar hip injuries, and he was a guy that you knew there were going to be some limitations with the athleticism that he played with in college before the hip injury. And, he was going to have a career. What that career was going to be, 4 or 5 years. I remember the conversations and remember talking about having more of a limited career path, probably not going to have the same length in his career as a normal rookie because of that injury, that he will start to slow down a little bit. But that was, every hip, every injury is a little bit different. But I remember having that conversation, and that's the way it played out in that guy's career. He had some nice years and then ended, because probably a little bit earlier than normal. But that's probably just one example of a player like that. But the hips in football are kind of rare. Those don't pop up very often. No pun intended. They don't really happen very often. We've had a couple. Jake Locker had a hip injury when he was here, kind of subluxed his hip, popped out, popped back in, but he was able to come back and be fully healthy. So, those are things that, you really have to rely on a specialist. We're football people. We look at the tape, we look at the film. You really have to rely on the experts when it comes to the medical part of it.
No doubt about it. Blake Bedingfield, of course, the former college director of scouting for the Tennessee Titans, joining us here on the program, talking a little Dolphins NFL draft. All right, so let's move down to Austin Jackson at the tackle. Did you have him as your fifth tackle behind the top four guys? Because it looks like that's the way Miami had him on their board.
I had him actually just one spot ahead of Tristan Wirfs. I like left tackles. Left tackles are tough to find. I like left tackles. I think that he is a true left tackle, an athlete. Going to be better probably in year 2 and 3 than in year 1. He's got some little bit of development still, but a lot of that is inexperience and youth. Everything he has that he needs to work on is easily fixed. And some of that's some technical, fundamental issues that he has, but this guy has really good quickness off the ball. He's got excellent feet. He struggles a little bit with his angles on his reach blocks. He gets a little hot sometimes in the run game, but all these things are correctable because he has the necessary physical skills and athletic traits to translate to the game. I think he can start in year 1. I don't think that's an issue, and he'll continue to develop as he gets older. This is a really good mover, a really good athlete for that left tackle position, and I thought they got an excellent player. I graded him back in the fall during the season in the top 20, and he goes number 18. I think that's a good pick for Miami at a very tough position to find, usually in that middle portion of the first round. I thought they did a good job with it. I like Tristan Wirfs. I think Tristan, was a right tackle that showed a lot of athleticism at the combine, and I think he'll have a good career. I just think Austin Jackson's a true left.
How about that? I'm a big Wirfs guy, and you like Austin Jackson better than Wirfs. That's pretty impressive there. And also, from what I hear, a great character kid too. So it kind of falls in the Tua sense. This kid's absolutely phenomenal too as a young man. That work ethic, all that stuff, from what I hear, is exceptional.
Yeah, I've heard nothing negative on this guy. The stories they played on him during the draft were outstanding, with he and his little sister, that type of thing. Just another quality character person to add with Tua.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Austin Jackson looks like a really good pick. Now, the Noah Igbinoghene, I don't know how to pronounce the kid's name. I guess eventually I'm going to learn it. When I saw him yesterday, I liked the kid. I thought he was going to be like an early second rounder, maybe even late second rounder. Somewhere in that second round he would go. He went early first. And then I started sending some messages out to my guys around the league. And, man, the reaction I got from guys was outstanding. A lot of them felt that he was going to be a starter eventually. They told me, he's not going to be a nickel or a dime for very long. This is a guy that eventually will be an outside starting corner. He's that caliber player. He's just a little green right now. Break it down for us. What do you see from Noah?
I think the people you talk to right on. This is a very good athlete, really good speed, physical for the position. For someone who hasn't played this position long, very physical at the point, whether it's at the press when he's pressing a receiver at the line of scrimmage or in the run game. Not a sound tackler in terms of the technique coming up and being able to break down, but he's not afraid to hit, not afraid to put a hat in the pile. He'll come in and be a second and third tackler on a player. He's not going to stand around. I like that about Noah. The things he's struggling with now, again, a little bit like Austin Jackson, some of Noah's inexperience playing high point balls. He'll cover a man, lose the ball down the field at times. This isn't an instinct issue. This is more of, being able to take that next step in his transition as a corner with his fundamentals and techniques. And I think, with the players that he has in front of him, with Xavier Howard and Byron Jones, he's going to fit probably inside in that slot really quickly because he's not afraid to blitz. He's not afraid to mix it up in the run game. He can get up and press and run with a slot receiver. Slot receivers have changed over the last few years. You're no longer playing just a horizontal game in terms of covering receivers, the Julian Edelman types. You're having to cover the Mecole Hardmans. You're having to cover the Tyreek Hills that can stretch vertically down the field. So a lot of that nickel corner is really where you align on defense, but you still have the same responsibilities as an outside corner having to cover vertical down the field at times. So especially with the way the league has changed with some of those slot receivers. So I think it was a good pick. It was a need pick, meaning they needed a nickel corner to come in and be an immediate, what I call starter, because most teams play in the nickel more than 60% of the time in today's NFL. So that's really a starting position in this league now. So can he transition to the outside? Yeah, he can, but it's going to be an easier transition for him to start his career inside, especially with those two veteran corners that they have.
Yeah, well, here's a breakdown from one of my guys in the league. Great kid, has a high ceiling, because everything you said, it mirrors what he just said to me on the text. Great kid, has a high ceiling. He's one of my favorite outside corners, but will have to play nickel early to develop into a number one outside CB in the NFL. Aggressive around the ball, very physical and quick-triggered in the running game, still developing his ball skills, like you just said, since he's a converted wide receiver. Slow to locate, but competitive. Time and reps is what he needs outside since he's a convert, but he doesn't back down. Hell of a nickel inside player to start. Great kid and pick. Exactly what you said. The exact same thing.
Well, I think that guy sounds pretty smart. I'm not sure who he is, but he sounds like he's right on.
I know you. I'm pretty sure you know him because we've kind of been in the same circles. So I think you know him. I think you know him.
I bet I do.
Yeah, he's on another team, but he's on an AFC team. But I'm pretty sure you know him. But again, and by the way, you said 60. I'm hearing it's almost really 70% now. The slot guys, pretty much your third.
You know it is.
Your third corner is out there 70% of the time, which is crazy.
Yeah. When you're playing teams like the Kansas Cities of the world, you're playing pretty much primarily out of the nickel because you're not going to allow your team to get mismatched with a Tyreek Hill in the slot. With a linebacker or a safety, you just can't afford that anymore. So teams are going to go to nickel, even in situations where maybe they have a different personnel grouping on the field. You have to be able to match up. Everything on offense now is match up. No longer do you just play an X or a Z. You're having to learn all the positions because offense coordinators want to move those pieces around and create mismatches. That's what New England lived on forever, and people were starting to copy that and have some success.
Yeah, and also he does a little in the return game, kickoff at least, not a punt returner, but he's a kickoff returner, which I like that because with Jakeem Grant back there, now you put one on each side, and you've got a really nice, strong return game. Plus, Jakeem is a small kid. I know he's a great returner, but he does get banged up. So if he does get banged up, Noah can fill in, too, at the same time. So either dual threat or depth, either way, on the return game. How good of a returner is he?
He's got really good straight line speed. He hits the hole with kind of a fearless type mentality. He'll hit the hole quick. The way he plays on defense is the way he returns the ball. And usually the best kick returners, either you have that outstanding make-miss ability in space, or you have the ability to run by defenders that are coming full speed at you from the other angle, and you can run by them. And he's got enough size and the physical strength in his lower body to run through poor arm tackles. So he's going to be someone that I think in the kick return game, I'm with you. He's not a punt returner. He's kick return only. That he's going to have some ability to do some damage there. Again, what we're talking about with what Miami's done is added some versatility with a guy like Noah that's going to be able to play inside corner, outside corner eventually in a few years. Also be a kick returner. These are some things that you really want to see a team do is add some versatility and guys that can play multiple positions.
Yeah, and by the way, fans have asked me in the offseason, well, are they going to trade X? And I said, he's coming off a knee injury and a domestic issue. His value is as low as it gets. You're not going to trade him now if you're a smart front office. You get him back on the field. He has a great 2020. And if Noah continues to develop, then you can actually move him in, and then you can move X if you want to. If not, then you can have depth. But if you hit on Noah, that gives you also confidence for a fan base that your front office knows what they're doing. The guy that's in the front office found X. The guy that's in the front office finds Noah, signs Jones. Well, guess what? And they sign Nick Needham, so they can get you guys. You know what I mean? So this Noah thing, it might be deeper than what we figure a year or two from now with Xavier Howard.
Exactly, and I think that's the way you build a team. You have pieces and you have value to these players like Xavier Howard that, if he doesn't come back healthy enough, you drafted his replacement, and then you continue to do that at other positions. They went out in free agency and picked up a number of good pieces for the future. Last year they drafted Christian Wilkins at a position that is tough to find at times, and I think they need to continue continue to do that, especially moving forward today when they have the 3 picks today. I think that's very valuable to add to that group that they brought in free agency and what they did on the first day of the draft.
Blake Bedingfield, of course, joining us, former director, College of Scouting for the Tennessee Titans. You can follow him on Twitter, by the way, at Blake Bed, 2 Ds at the end with Bed. All right, so let's wrap it up with this, Blake. They've got the 39th pick. They've got the 56th pick and the 70th pick. We've talked about free safety because they've got Bobby McCain, who's a corner, and their safeties have to be smart, and they have to have cover skills in this system. It can't be just hitters. They got to be guys that can cover. So when we talk about Delpit, McKinney at safety, is that a guy you would target at 39? Is that a guy that would fit what Flores wants? Do you go running back? Swift is there, Dobbins, Akers, Zach Moss, Ezra Cleveland, offensive tackle, if you want to add another one. Epinesa, Gross Matos at defensive end. I love Michael Pittman, man. I know that Devontae kind of came through and the Preston Williams showed you something, but I would love Michael Pittman too. So what are you targeting here? If you're the Dolphins at 39 and 56, what are the kind of names that might be there that fit what their needs are and their scheme is?
I think they have to get offensive playmakers. And you drafted a quarterback, you drafted the left tackle. Now let's go get some players around him that start to build that offense. In free agency, you went out and got Shaq Lawson, Agba. You drafted Christian Wilkins the year before. You went out and got Kyle Van Noy, Byron Jones on defense. Let's start to build this offense a little bit. Put some playmakers around Fitzpatrick. Put some future playmakers around Tua. I like DeAndre Swift. I like Cam Akers. I like J.K. Dobbins. I think there's going to be a run on running backs, probably that early portion of the second round. But they also need another receiver, too, whether it's a T. Higgins or Michael Pittman. I even like the C.J. Hamler. In the third round, maybe a Van Jefferson. I know y'all had his dad as a coach for a while, a Byron Edwards. These are positions that have to be picked up. Start to have to get some offensive players around. It'd be great to get Xavier McKinney. I think a Delpit fits, but I think Xavier McKinney probably fits even better. He's more that interchangeable, versatile piece than a Delpit. Delpit's a true a true safety. Gonna be a hitter around the box, but lacks some cover skills deep. Xavier McKinney's a little bit more where he can cover a slot at times. He can cover a tight end. He's a valuable piece.
He sounds more like a Flores guy. In other words, McKinney is more of a fit than Delpit, is what you're telling us.
No question. But I still think they need offensive players. Picking up Jordan Howard in free agency is fine, but you've got to get some receivers and you got to get a running back. And there's some good ones, and they've got 2 picks in the second round and 1 in the third. And I think they got to use them on this offense. And, if you're lucky enough, maybe in the third, to go out and get a defensive lineman. They only have 2 true defensive linemen on this roster. I mean, with Gotcho and Wilkins, those are the only 2 really true defensive tackles. The other guys are more ends and rushers. They can't ignore that position as well. Maybe that's something you wait until the 4th, but they have to fill that spot as well. But I like what they have the potential to do on offense in the second round, and I think they need to go running back to receiver.
Blake, as always, I appreciate you, my friend, the friendship and everything, and thank you for taking some time and dropping the knowledge. I know the Dolphin Nation really appreciates all of that, man. You stay COVID-free, my friend, all right? Stay safe there with the family. Enjoy the rest of the draft this weekend.
Thanks, Big O. It's always good to hear from you, man.
You're a stud, my man. Thank you. There you go. Blake Bedingfield, man. Good man, and a former college director of scouting for the Tennessee Titans. There you go. So there's a little breakdown for you. Let's do this because we're going to let me see. We're going to talk to Travis Reier here at the top of the hour. Travis works for Bama Online. Okay? He covers the Alabama Crimson Tide on an everyday basis. So that means he covers some guy named Tua. So let's get some insight on Tua. Let's talk Tua. Maybe we'll talk a little McKinney also with him. We'll talk about any of the other Alabama players that maybe might end up as a Miami Dolphin. Interesting, good insight there on the McKinney and Delpit. As much as I like Delpit, he feels McKinney is the better fit overall because if he feels Delpit lacks coverage skills, then they're not drafting Delpit. I can put my life on it because I'm the one that's telling you that you got to have cover skills. So as much as I like Delpit, looks like McKinney, which by the way, Rose, if you're watching last night on the draft, you were McKinney over Delpit, so you were right there. So that'll be nice to see if they're able to add. But he's right about offense, and there's still some receivers, and they've got all those picks. You can add another receiver to this team. You definitely got to add a running back. It's gonna be a lot of fun, man. It's gonna be a lot of fun. All right, let's do this. Let's take a quick break. By the way, tomorrow at Jose Marti Park at 351 4th Avenue, the folks at Hialeah Park, along with Fresh Florida, they are serving the South Florida community groups that have joined forces to create Adopt a Box, a program that raises funds to purchase local and Florida-grown fruits and vegetables directly from our farmers who need help during this time of the COVID-19 pandemic. The produce purchased from the farms are assembled into 20-pound family-sized boxes and distributed to families and individuals in need. We invite you to pick up a box at the location below, which is at Jose Marti Park, 351 Southwest 4th Avenue. This program is led by Redland Ahead, Unity Groves, and Taste of Redland's team. The lines will form heading eastbound on Southwest 4th Street and on Southwest 4th Avenue, northbound in front of Jose Marti. You must enter in a vehicle. No walk-ups allowed. Upon arrival, you will be directed to pickup points. Remain in your vehicle. Open the trunk, and we will place a box inside. Only one box per car. You will then be directed to the exit. All right? So check it out, folks. Jose Marti Park starting at 9 a.m. tomorrow, 351 Southwest 4th Avenue. Great stuff there for our community and by a lot of great people involved there. All right, let's take a break. Travis Reier is going to join us next. BamaOnline.com. Let's talk Tua, and we'll talk Alabama in general next.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
Will reimburse payments up to a total of $1,800 based on purchase and MSRP on approved credit on select models. Excludes tax, tag, title, and includes $8.99 dealer fee. Offer ends 5/4/20. Toyota of Hollywood is open, and we're here to serve you. The safety of our customers and associates is our top priority. Toyota of Hollywood is following strict guidelines, including social distancing and keeping our facilities clean and sanitized. Buy with zero down, 0% APR financing, and we'll make your payments till 2021. Pay up to 50% less than their original MSRP when new and used. 2019 pre-owned Camry LE, not $27,000, $16,775. 2020 pre-owned Corolla LE, not $22,000, $13,775. Shop and save at our 400,000 square foot dealership at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2019 per SET, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
make it till 2. Today it'll be a 3-hour gig, and we're closing out, okay? Because we're on again tonight and for a long time. So, and we'll be on like around 6:45, 6:50, something like that. A few minutes before the draft starts, we'll get on and we'll start the show. I think last night we did it like 20, 30 minutes before, or like 20 minutes before. I'm not doing that because we're on for so long, and plus I'm already doing 3 hours today. You can already feel it in my – I was so tired last night. I didn't go to sleep till 5:30. I didn't sleep a lot. It was just – it's weird, man. You're dead tired, and then you get to bed and you're
overtired, man.
Yeah.
You're like overtired.
And it's like you're wired, right? Because I did like 8 hours of talking yesterday. And so you're so wired and just your energy and everything, it's overwhelming, and then you want to sleep and then you can't sleep. So weird, man. And finally at 5:30 I fell asleep, and when the alarm rang at like 7-something in the morning, I was like, oh my God, I got a lot to go here. I got a long ass day, that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's been a grind doing this. So hope you guys appreciate a little bit about what we're going through, because it's been a little bit of a challenge. We're gonna get Travis Reier on now from Bama Online. We'll talk a little Tua with him, as yesterday the Miami Dolphins took Tua with the 5th overall pick. And listen, we talked about this yesterday. This was going to be the draft that Chris Grier was going to get ripped no matter what. If he passed on Tua, oh no, you passed on Breeze again. If he takes Tua, oh no, you took the injury-prone player. And so either way, you were going to make a whole bunch of people unhappy. I mean, what are you going to do? So time will answer all of this, and we'll figure it all out. And then eventually we'll find out if Tua's the guy, and if Tua can stay healthy, and Tua be the difference maker. We good? What's going on? No answer?
No answer. Waiting for a response on the text.
All right, you got it. Anyway, so we'll get Travis on, and we'll have a little fun with him, and we'll what's it called? Get him on and talk a little bit about Alabama, and we'll get his thoughts on, obviously, not just Tua, but the injury, his future, the way he handled it. I mean, he's been around them a lot more than all of us. He's covered them a lot more than all of us combined. So I would imagine Travis is going to give us some pretty good insight on it. Hey, listen, there were a lot of teams that were willing to take a chance on the kid. And that's because you already know he can play the game. And that's why a couple of weeks ago I was like, look, man, I get it. He's injury prone. I'm the first guy to tell you that he'll break down. But I'd rather take a chance on the kid that I know can play the game than take a chance on the kid that can't play the game, and we got to teach him the game at this level. I just can't do that. We did that for 7 years, and that doesn't get you anywhere. You either have it or you don't. You don't develop it. You are that, okay? Drew Brees was that at Purdue. It's just the transition from college to the pros is a hell of an adjustment. And it's a harder adjustment when you don't have a gun. And luckily for Drew Brees, he has intelligence and anticipation, all those things, and that helped him adjust eventually to game speed. And then he became a really good quarterback, like what he is now, Hall of Famer. But the first couple of years, it didn't look that way. So it's not a matter of whether you have it or you don't. That's what you can tell. What you can't do is draft a guy early, and then you got to teach him how to play the game. That doesn't fly. There's no way I'm doing that. Let me see what we got here. Let me go on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, because I know it has been absolutely smoking. I'll go to your text on YouTube now in a second. Big O, great show. Love it. Thanks. I like Noah, the Noah pick. He can play special teams and returner. He comes from a first-class team and system in Gus Malzahn in Auburn. And remember, I told you yesterday, we were talking about it. I'd like a receiver or a corner that's also a returner to add a little more depth. And that's exactly what they did. They added a corner that also helps you on special teams. Dolphins definitely have the ammunition to move up to a safety or running back if they have it at the beginning of the second tomorrow. That's what Anthony from Sebastian says. That was so damn funny to see Joe Dirt Jr. next to Grable. Give me Swift at 30. There's another Jordan Love type QB later, Hundley for the Fins. All right. Seems like the Fins are allowing the picks to fall to them, not forcing anything. I agree. There's no panic here. I love it. Another O tackle or defense with 20. Okay, that was last night, I guess. They are calling me a. It's like a nasty word, but it's a compliment. And thank you for that. That compliment. Big O, thank you for sacrificing your voice for us. Can you play the Dolphins song tomorrow? What, like the fight song? Big O, now for 26. Oh, okay, it could be. We're getting some from yesterday. David McDid, great draft show today, Big O. The draft is playing very nicely for us. I agree, and thank you for listening. Dougie Fresh says, FYI, you can go 12 straight hours on YouTube Live, and he wants Delpit. Oh, you can go 12 straight hours live. How about that? Didn't know. Keep in mind, Texans and Steelers don't have a first. Somebody brings up Ray Finkel. $50 million clipboard holder. Could have bought in Johnny Clipboard. They're not paying Tua $50 million, dude. They don't pay that kind of money anymore to the guys in the draft. I'm not sure if you guys know that. Some of you, at least. Big O, no worries about the delay. It's only about 30 seconds. It's perfect. Oh, that was yesterday. Yeah, and by the way, if you watch the draft show tonight, the podium stuff, we're not even going to air it tonight, but it's delayed. We got no choice. We got no, we're doing a show on the internet plus off of satellite. It's just going to take a while to get to you, I'm a Dolphins fan, but I would have preferred that they would have picked up offensive linemen. I would have preferred to pick up Love or Herbert. I guess that might have been after the 5th pick. Okay. Somebody's asking if we can get an O-line at 18, which is what they did. Bob in Miami is chiming in. Thank you, Bobby. Roger out in California. Big O, I like the Tua pick. They need protection. Well, they got that. Jerry Jeudy or an OT. They got the OT. Oh, you called it first. The biggest smokescreen ever by the Fins. Loving this new regime. Yep. You're right about that. Who will be 18 top 3 you like? Oh, well, that's already gone. And there we go. And George from North Carolina wanted CeeDee Lamb at 18. Dallas, I thought, got the best receiver in the draft yesterday. I thought they did a nice job. They've done a nice job overall drafting for a while. Let's see what we got here on the chat board. Gio says, hey, Big O, do you think Josh Jones would be a good pick for the second round for the Dolphins to have another set of protection for Tua? Yes. I'd go Ezra because I think Ezra Cleveland hasn't been taken. That's the guy I might take over Josh. But, yeah, I would. Chat board is on fire. Thumbs up and share the show, everyone. Yes, please use the share link. Give us the thumbs up. Share it with your friends. Pass it on a text, Twitter, Facebook, all that good stuff. Get it going, baby. It's a beautiful thing. We're over 400 right now watching. Thank you all out there for always keeping it locked here and supporting us. King Short wants Akers. Akers is a popular pick. A lot of FSU people down here. William says CBS graded a B or an A+ or something like that. Oh, B for 5, D for 18, 30, A+. Okay. Well, you just heard our guy Blake, and he liked Austin Jackson more than Tristan Wirfs. So, he must like let me give you a little. Let's talk a little Jackson here since we got some time. Since it looks like we're not going to get the call from Travis. One of the things that I wanted to share about this kid gave bone marrow to his sister last offseason. And he had no opportunity to train for the upcoming season. So he was not in the kind of shape that he needed and lost weight. Do you know that the kid played the entire season, didn't miss anything? That's pretty good, man. That shows you character there with Austin Jackson. Let's see. Here we go. Long, smart, works angles to finish well. Length and savviness helps him win. Not an over-powerful guy, but strong enough and has enough bend to anchor down. Solid pick. Not a nasty guy, but tough enough to last and secure for years. So that was from one of my scouts on Austin Jackson. So they got a guy that and a lot of people feel that he's at more than athletic enough to play left tackle. So when you're going up against the better athletes out in space, he's got the athleticism to hang with those kind of guys. Now, he's not a mauler, but at tackle, you don't always need a mauler at tackle. I kind of need my guards and centers to be maulers because you're playing inside a phone booth and the guy's right in front of you. It's hard to maul in space. So it's a little different when you're playing on the edges. You know what I mean? It's a saying that is thrown out there, but it's kind of, unless you're Jonathan Ogden, that you're like one of those absolute freaks, that you're like 6'8", and you just swallow people up. That's not a mauler. That's just like an incredible freak. You know what I mean? And there aren't a lot of those Jonathan Ogden types that come out of the draft. They're just not. Those kind of guys get taken, top 3 in the draft because they're just a force, freakish, that you just don't deal with normally. And so Austin is a guy that looks like he fits exactly what they need. And we just had a guy that has done this for a living and had him as the number 4 guy. So Miami got a top 4 tackle at number 18 in his eyes. I think that's pretty good. And to hear, when you hear the scouts say he wasn't as strong, well, he didn't have the whole offseason to work out. He lost weight, he lost strength, the bone marrow, all that stuff. It took something out of him. And so he wasn't ready for the season like he normally, but he sucked it up, showed you some mental toughness, and played the season. That's pretty good, man. That's pretty good stuff with him. Alonzo says, this is a character resiliency draft. We are drafting folks that have been through some type of adversity. Well, you know what? I mean, even the corner was a wide receiver. So he's had to overcome switching positions. That's adversity in itself. You might have a little some there. Nice job by you, Alonzo. Mr. Ballgame says, I'm at a B+, should have grabbed our safety at 30. Well, maybe you grabbed the safety, here in the second round. I was disappointed when the Saints took Ruiz. So was I. I wanted Ruiz too. That was the guy I wanted at 26. I'm with you. When the Saints took him, but like I said on the draft show last night, look at the Saints' history, and they are very, very aware of what they got to do at guard and center. They don't really splurge on the left tackle that much or the right tackle. They don't go and get like the best guys ever. They get pretty good guys, but their guards and their center usually are elite. That's kind of the way they do things there in New Orleans. They don't want the pocket for Breeze ever to collapse. So they get guys that are just absolute anchors in the middle of the line. Let's see, what else do we have here? Mickey says, the backfield for us is going to be a force, and it's going to be really fun watching the competition battle between the rookie and Bobby McCain for that nickel position. Well, that's if they don't get a safety to kick Bobby out of there. If they get the safety that kicks Bobby out of there, then yes, you are correct, sir. Let's see. Flipper says, I see Jonathan Ogden at my Whole Foods. Super cool dude. He fits inside Whole Foods? Wow. I'm kind of surprised. I'd love to see Miami move up from 56 and hoping they get Swift and Delpit early in the second. I'm kind of leaning McKinney now with Bedingfield telling me McKinney has better, cover skills. Vicken says Tua coach from Bill Belichick in college because of Tua injury pushing him every day. He's our Dan Marino. Well, we'll find out if he's the Dan Marino. All right, let me see what else do we have here. I got to. You know what? I gotta find something out here now. I have been given some information. It's interesting. I'm sorry here because I'm a little, because I'm typing. Let me see if, I may have a surprise for you that I'm working on here. Anyway, 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line at 786-322-1105. Irish says if we can land one of these RBs, Taylor Swift, Dobbins, and one of these free safeties, McKinney, Winfield, or Delpit, we have hit a grand slam. Why not? Mario says, nah, Tua's arm does not come close to Marino. I just want accuracy, bro. I just need you to have a good enough arm to make all the throws, and Tua has that arm to make all the throws. So that's not what I'm worried about. You know what I mean? So that's the good thing. He doesn't have to have an absolute – look, Josh Allen has a gun and a half, but he has no idea where it's going. So that doesn't do any good for me. Marino was a rifle, and it was accurate. Tua has a really good arm, but is accurate, and that's all I need. The main thing with Tua is staying healthy. I know he can play the damn game. Michael Madsen says you need to take advantage of Super Chats, and Patreon people will support you financially. Many of you have been telling me about the Super Chat already as it is. It's been mentioned several times. I don't know. I'm kind of uncomfortable with that. You know what I mean? I kind of like the traditional way of sponsors and stuff like that, and support our sponsors and things like that. I don't know yet. That's got to be taken into consideration. Something we gotta think about. What do you all think out there? Should I get Super Chat? Is Super Chat needed here? Would you guys support the Super Chat? Well, give me a yes or no. There's 400 people here. Give me the Super Chat answer, yes or no. Should we get Super Chat? Is that better right now for us? You tell me. Miami needs to send Tua to South America to practice in the snow and cold all summer so he'll be ready for Buffalo. Radically, I don't even think he's playing this year. I said that earlier on the show. Let's see. Armed Ape says, Tua has the arm and the instincts. Hell yeah. Mario says, best pure passer ever. Marino? Yes. Let's see. Gio says, Big O, with Miami's amount of QBs that we have had, what's your opinion on what Tua can bring to our team, and do you think we have enough weapons in our wideouts for Tua? I would draft another wide receiver. I would. So I don't think you have enough weapons. No. I think you need more weapons. Yes, no, yes, yeah. All I need is the Big O Dolph fan forever. Well, thank you. That's very nice. Rick is going, what is that? I didn't know anything about it till yesterday. And since yesterday, people have been mentioning to me Super Chat all over the place. George Arthur says, is Super Chat better or something? I saw a video on it yesterday. And it might be a little easier for me to handle, but it's a way of you guys supporting us directly too. R-Rod says yes. Big J doing big things says yes. Get Super Chat. I'd rather pay for no commercials. LOL. Oh, that's what happens with Super Chat. I did not know that. Moneyman says no. Money Man says no. But you're the money man. You should say yes. NorCal says yes, Super Chat. What's Super Chat? LOL. I just found out about it yesterday, my man. I was completely lost, too. Dean G says, I hope Tua does not wear number 1. That's from my friend Garrow. I don't know. And Tua's not hung up on the number. Oh, and by the way, the story with Tua is he wore 11 in high school. And he wanted 11 at Alabama, but somebody already had it. So they gave him, they gave him 13. Okay? That's what it was. They gave him 13. That's how he ended up with 13. So it wasn't like 13 is his number. He ended up with it. Sharif says, we can fill our gap between 70 and 134. We have no pick to fill the gap. Then worry about who's there. I'll give Greer an A+. Ad Merrill says, what is Super Chat? Jose says, no need, Big O. Just keep killing it like always. You will blow up real soon, my brother. I don't know about blow up, but we are growing, and thank you so much for helping us grow in a big-time way. Subscribing, it's really important that you subscribe. It's really important you share. It's really important you like. It's really important you support our sponsors, okay? Like John went and bought a car at Toyota of Hollywood or here at Craig's Inn Acura. Come on out, buy, lease, but make sure you mention us. When you go to VSS West Pines, make sure you mention us. When you go to Caneswear, make sure you mention us. Hialeah Park, I don't know how you can mention it to anybody, the dealer or whatever. I doubt they'll know. But regular businesses, that are sponsors of ours, if you go to Moodius Dental, mention us, man. That kind of stuff. That's what's going to help us. Rick goes, I have no idea what that is. Yeah, I just learned to. George says no. Mickey says no. Drubo says, get sexually aroused with Tua. No, I get sexually aroused with accuracy. Okay? And Tua's got accuracy. So, yes, I'm sexually aroused. David Banos says no. A lot of no's. A lot of people don't want to support. Happy we traded back to 30 when Ruiz was taken because we got an extra 4th-round pick we needed. Could have used to take another QB or package them to move up in the 4th round. We've been saying that on the show. Swift or Dobbins, folks are chiming in with. Our running backs are awful. Draft one in the 2nd. They will. And they're not awful. Howard is good. Howard's a good power back, short yardage guy. I like Howard as the complimentary 2nd back. That way you use your feature back, but you don't wear him out. And then in those short yardage punishing situations, you bring the beast in Howard. That guy's averaged 4 yards a carry his whole career. That big fat dude falls for 4 yards a carry. He doesn't run for 4 yards a carry. He falls down for 4 yards a carry. So, no, I disagree. The running game for the Dolphins isn't as bad as you think it is. And I like Patrick Laird, too. I think you can develop him into a nice pass-catching wide receiver out of the backfield. Or running back, receiver out of the backfield. So, whoever you draft, whether it's Dobbins or Cam Akers or Zach Moss, who I love out of Utah, then your running game with any of those guys, Taylor, whatever, and Howard, and then you got Laird also as a pass catcher. I love it. I love it, man. It adds versatility. You now change it up with all kinds of packages. I think it's really, really important. So I disagree with you guys, some of you on that, for that one. We need more legit pass rushers. Yes, we do, Dolphin Dude 54, but you can't solve everything in one offseason. So they did what they could do last year, limited draft. This draft is loaded. I'm sure maybe they get another pass rusher here, but next year will be another year where they can add. But this isn't like, okay, this is the year where you finish the team and now you can make a deep playoff run to the Super Bowl. Come on, guys. They're probably not even a playoff team this year. So it's really about years 3 and 4 down the line. And so don't be surprised if you still have some holes. They tore it down to the bone, They need help on the O-line too, not just D-line. I right now, I got to tell you something. As much as I agree with you, they need a D-lineman, I'm really more interested in building up the O-line. I really am. Let's see, what else do we have here? It is a way to support you. I know, Premier Reviewer, you are the one that started this thing already. And thank you for sending me that video. I appreciate that. Thank you for educating me on pick 30. I had no clue in what Noah can do. That's all good, bro. I mean, we're all learning. Every day, baby. No loss in having Super Chat. No one is forced to donate. There you go. That's true. That's true. What did we get from Green Bay? 4th rounder, sir. I got game New Jersey. We got a 4th rounder, sir. So now they have 2 4th rounders. There's only 1 round where they don't have multiple picks. I think it's the 6th round, if I'm correct. Let's see. I said no, but I didn't know what it was, man. LOL. That's what Money Man says. You're funny, Money Man. I like it. I like it. Let's see. Well, we don't have Tom Green till 1:30 actually. So we're no, we have Antonio Morales at the top of the hour. By the way, at the top of the hour we will have Antonio Morales. Antonio covers USC for The Athletic. And who does he cover? Austin Jackson. So let's get a writer that covers Austin Jackson, and we'll talk a little Austin Jackson. Oh, you sneezing? Yep. I have a fan down here that's hitting me direct, so I guess it made me sneeze. Let's see. For those of you that don't know, Super Chat allows people in chat to donate to broadcaster. YouTube takes about 50%. Super Chat messages are highlighted in the chat, easier to see. Okay? There you go. Coincidence on 13. Do you think there will be a Rodgers drama in Green Bay, or will he be a pro? You know, Mike Schoolcraft sent that one in, and thank you, Mike, for supporting us, like all of you out there that are doing it. We're up to 429. Thank you. If Rodgers starts complaining, you know, he needs to go check himself, because they drafted him when they had a Hall of Famer in place in Brett Favre. You know what Aaron Rodgers needs to do? It's what we all need to do in life. If we have an opportunity to help somebody, help them. Okay? You know that corny saying that people say, oh, it's better to give than receive? For me, I truly believe in that. I get more satisfaction helping people, assisting somebody. You know, whatever I can do, I try. And in my business, there's plenty of people that are in the business that they'll tell you I've helped them one way or another. Helped them get a job, helped them move on to another job, whatever. I've always been that person, right? Because our society is better when we're better human beings. From opening the door for somebody, to saying hi to them, to having common decency. And you know what? They want to cross the street, stop the damn car, help them cross the street, be their left tackle. Now let's be better people. Brett Favre acted like a complete a-hole to Aaron Rodgers. Do you know what Aaron Rodgers needs to do? He needs to learn from those situations. You know what I told you that I think Chris Grier over the last year is doing everything you've never seen from Dolphin GMs in 20 years. Do you know why? Because Chris Grier learned. He watched all the mistakes everybody else made and said, I'm not doing that. I'm doing this. I'm not doing that. And that's exactly what he's doing. Aaron Rodgers needs to become a better human being here. Don't bitch and complain that they drafted Jordan Love. Say, hey, the Green Bay Packers are better because now we've got another guy here that whenever my days are done, he's ready to take over. The Packers drafted me. They gave me an opportunity. They developed me. They chose me over a Hall of Famer eventually. Well, you know what? They brought this young man in to develop, and I don't want to give him my job, but I'm going to help him be better at his job because it's going to help the Green Bay Packers. That's what he's supposed to do. Okay? That's what I want to see from Aaron Rodgers. I want to see him to rise above this. Don't act like Brett Favre, dude. Brett Favre treated Aaron Rodgers like crap. He treated the Packers every year in the offseason. He was deciding on retiring or coming back, and they had no idea on how to prepare for the draft one way or another with him. Until they said, F it, we're taking Aaron Rodgers, and we're going to move on. And eventually they had to push him out and put Aaron Rodgers in because they had to make the tough decision, and it was the right decision. And whether Aaron Rodgers likes it or not, this is part of the game. Whether Josh Rosen likes it or not, Tua is part of the game. Oh, and by the way, if they draft another quarterback tonight or tomorrow, it's part of the game. So that's what I would like to see out of Aaron Rodgers. I would like to see him take a page out of Chris Grier. Chris Grier learned and watched all the mistakes everybody else made. And he says, that's not what I'm doing. I want Aaron Rodgers to do, you know what? I'm not acting like Brett Favre. I'm going to be better than that. I'm going to go out there, ball. I'm going to make sure I make this decision difficult for them. But I'm going to do what's right for Jordan Love, what's right for the Packers, what's right for the team. You know, the other day, as you're watching the Michael Jordan, The Last Dance, and Scottie Pippen takes time off during the regular season for the operation. And Michael was not happy about that. You remember? And neither was Phil overall. And I know Scottie had a bad contract and they didn't, help him with it. But, at that moment, that was Scottie's responsibility. That wasn't Phil Jackson. That wasn't his teammates. That wasn't the fans. And the front office, Jerry Reinsdorf said it in the story. He goes, man, I told him I don't think you should be signing this. And even Pippen said, I signed it because I was trying to capture the most guarantee possible. Well, then, dude, you got it. You asked for it. That's it. You got to live up to that contract. That's your problem. Quitting on your team, say whatever you want. I know he deserved more money, but, dude, your dumb ass signed that contract. Be a professional. Don't screw your teammates. Don't screw the fans. Don't screw your coaches. Go play the damn game. And ruin your summer with the opera. Oh, I'm going to ruin my summer. So be better. And Scottie wasn't. He failed. And I'd like to see Aaron Rodgers not do the same thing. Because right now you're almost getting the feeling that he's doing that. Anyway, so it's crazy, man. It really is. That to me makes no sense whatsoever. So that's what I would like Aaron Rodgers to do. NorCal, Big O, is there a QB in the 6th or 7th rounds that has a similar style to Tua that we could draft as a project behind Tua just in case? Or is Rosen that guy? Well, Rosen can be that guy, but he has to prove it to all of us. So he hasn't been able to. I think Anthony Gordon's that guy, but I don't know about 6th or 7th. I think you would have to make an investment somewhere in the 4th for that quarterback, maybe 5th. You got multiple picks in the 5th too. So maybe you can use them to trade up. But somewhere there, I don't know about 2nd or 3rd like tonight. They have so many other needs that I would worry more about that than quarterback. But in that 4th or 5th, and they've got multiple picks, if there's a quarterback there, if Anthony Gordon falls there, that might be a guy that I would take a chance on. Nate Stanley might be a guy I'd take a chance on. Yeah. Morgan, no. From FIU, they need somebody with a little bit more mobile, and so Morgan would not be the guy that would fit that, what they do. And even my guy Davidson may not fit that either. So if they want mobility in their guy, some of these other, the Montez kid, which I'm not a big fan of, but what's it called? I think it was Neuheisel that said, was it Neuheisel? No, it was Lillibridge. That's who it was. Lillibridge is the one that kind of likes him. So maybe a guy like, because he can move around too. Maybe a guy like that. The accuracy's, that's where I don't buy him. I don't think he'll fix the accuracy. I think I've been pretty consistent with that. Lino says 3 QBs is enough. No reason to draft another. Lino, you don't have 3 QBs. Tua's not playing this year. He'll probably be on the IR to start the season. He'll be on the PUP list. I don't know if you know that, but you only have 2. So Rosen is your backup. If there's injuries, Tua's not going to play. You're probably just tuning in. I said it at the first hour in the beginning. The way Tua plays this year, mark my words, he will not play at the beginning of the year at all. If he plays, it's at the end of the year, week 15, 16, 17. Miami is mathematically eliminated from the playoffs, and the offensive line is playing very good football. Do you understand that? Okay? Mathematically ineligible. All right? The line has to be playing excellent. And then you can get him in at the end of the season because now he's a year removed from the surgery, and maybe you feel he can take the hits. They may not even do it. They may wait till the following year. Remember what I told you a while ago when you draft Tua? You may not find out anything about him in 2020. He may not play till 2021, which means you will go through another draft without picking a quarterback. So that's why if you take one now, it doesn't hurt you. And it's a late pick. So it's not too bad. Just saying. All right. 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line. I didn't break here. Let me take a break here real quick. I need to get some water, dude, because I am dying here right now. We'll take a break. We'll come back on the other side. We're coming to you live from Craig Zinn's Acura Pembroke Pines at the top of the hour at 1 o'clock. Antonio Morales is going to join us from The Athletic. He covers USC. He covers, of course, Austin Jackson. So we'll get into that with him at the top of the hour. Back with your comments, your questions, and a little more insight on maybe what happens today in the draft right here on the Big O Show.
Will reimburse payments up to a total of $1,800 based on purchase and MSRP on approved credit on select models. Excludes tax, tag, title, and includes $8.99 dealer fee. Offer ends 5/4/20. Toyota of Hollywood is open, and we're here to serve you. The safety of our customers and associates is our top priority. Toyota of Hollywood is following strict guidelines, including social distancing and keeping our facilities clean and sanitized. Buy with 0 down, 0% APR financing, and we'll make your payments till 2021. Pay up to 50% less than their original MSRP when new and used. 2019 pre-owned Camry LE, not $27,000, $16,775. 2020 pre-owned Corolla LE, not $22,000, $13,775. Shop and save at our 400,000 square foot dealership at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2019 per SET on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
This is the Big O Show. 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 Show. This is the Big O 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 Show.
All righty.
This is the Big O Show.
We are back, and we take you till about 2 o'clock here on the program. If you want to get in, you can reach out to us on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, which is 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, 786-322-1105. You can reach out to us on Twitter. That's at Big O Show. Follow us there as always. That's a 24-hour talk show. I'm telling you, this is I can already feel it in my voice, dude. This is going to be a mission to get through the whole thing. Today will be a different kind of show, compared to last night, for sure. Let's see. Now, one of the things that I love about some of this stuff that went on yesterday, remember they had Miami trading up to get the 3rd and the 5th pick to try to land Burrow. You can tell that story was complete BS. Okay? I don't care what anybody tells me. Did they call him to inquire about number? Of course. Everybody called that needs a quarterback. Hey, you guys want to trade? What do you want? What are you interested? No, we're not. We're moving on. But it's funny how yesterday comes out a story that they want to move up to 3 and keep 5 and use 3 and 5 to entice Cincinnati to get Burrow when they had already given Burrow a jersey, his parents' jerseys. They had already welcomed him the day before. So it shows you how poor the reporting was. And it also shows you that those reporters relied on people that are not inside the Dolphin building, which is pretty cool. Again, a real tribute to what Chris Grier and Flores and company were doing throughout this whole thing. And we talked about it yesterday. I deciphered it all yesterday. I mean, to me, it became obvious it was the Tua pick. Because everything that they were doing was to throw people off the trail of Tua. And that they were willing to take that chance from the get-go. So it's interesting to see how this whole situation has worked out for Miami in the end, man. I got to tell you, it's pretty cool to see the Dolphins at this point look completely different than the team that we have been watching and following for years. I mean, they don't resemble anything like the past. And last night, again, it's kind of nice to see all these, bogus reports. And Miami's kind of getting through all of this. But again, look, there's going to be so many of you out there that you're not convinced with what's going on. I mean, I see it on the chat board. There are people that just, maybe they're not even Dolph fans. I think some of them are because obviously there's a section of you that are completely jaded. And it's almost like you don't want to give yourself an opportunity to, enjoy the moment, enjoy the ride, we talked about this a year ago. This is going to be a really fun ride. And people were fearful of all of it. And so far, I think it's been, because in another year or two, when Miami is a really good team and a playoff team, we're going to look back at this transition and this change, and we're going to say, wow, man, this is pretty cool. We're pretty lucky that they've been able to transition the way they have, and finally we have a team that we can be, proud of. We can, the people will respect. And I think that's what people are seeing around the league. They're respecting what these guys are doing, the way they tore it down, the balls it took to tear it down that way, and then the way they're rebuilding it back up again. All you hear is constant praise now from people all over. From the people that are involved in football. Forget about fans. I mean, fans are fans, and, half of them are going to be clueless. They're not going to really understand what's going on. So they got to be educated so you can walk them through it. But I think a lot of fans are not allowing themselves to actually enjoy this process. Those of you that are enjoying this process like I am, this is going to be as gratifying as it gets for a football fan. Our Rod says, this is why I love the Big O. He gets it. Thank you, sir. I'm sure a couple of texts from now, somebody will call me an idiot. Rhinos says, the old front office thought it was cool to share info with the press. I'm so glad this front office seems to be freaking getting it. The press is not their friends. Alex Diaz says, what Grier and Flores have done so far in the last year has been so completely different than past regimes, and they put together something that I can be proud of, and I'm proud of this front office. Nice job. Rick V says, trust the process. Sound Mind says, I was happy of the first round last night. All right. Alex Diaz says, I'm excited for the future. Hammerhead says, I trust Flo and Greer. Richard McLean says, Dolphins should take another OT. That way, chances of one being good or maybe both. Do it tonight. It could happen. See, but what you can't deny is you needed the other corner. So you can make your secondary as nasty as possible. You needed the lineman. And then the quarterback, you've needed a quarterback forever. So take the chance on the guy that can play. Take the chance on the guy that's got the best resume in the draft. That's Tua. His resume is better than Joe Burrow's. Joe Burrow has a great resume for 1 year. Tua has it for several years. Tua came in from high school with all the hype. So you're talking about a guy that came with expectations. And then he's had to live up to them, and he has. Drew Bow says, let's go, Fins Nation. Ken Walker says, does Big O read these live chat comments? I don't know. What do you think, Ken? Do I read these live chat comments? I can tell Ken Walker has not been with us very long, right? Like RC in the 305, he knows I read it. Drew Bow knows I read it. King Short knows I read. Now, we are getting now 300-400 people on this chat board. I can't tell you that I read all of them. That I've already said from the get-go. I used to be able to read all of them when we started this thing months ago and there were a few people on it. But now that it's actually grown and people have figured out how to reach us, they are, chiming in like crazy. So I will do my best. I will read what I can. Okay? Angel Pena says, I want Jonathan Taylor. Hammerhead says, should Tua's little bro enter the portal and transfer to the U? Let's go. Bring it. Keep the family here now in South Florida. This transition to competency has been awesome to unfold. Take notes, too, who's in, who's out. They're all in when they're winning. That's all you need to know, George. Once things turn around and everything's going well, hey, think about this. You rarely hear it anymore because you sound really stupid when you say it, okay? Because you're getting it now with Chris Greer, right? How many times did you hear people say, Spo ain't nothing. Spo's crap. Anybody can win with the big three, right? Meanwhile, Del Harris has the Lakers and can't win, and then they bring in Phil Jackson. No, because anybody can win with talent, right? But it's funny. Now that they've seen Spo win with scrubs, develop scrubs, win with their D-leaguers, develop the D-leaguers, develop draft picks, be innovative with their offense, all of that. Now you don't hear anybody really much. If there's one or two idiots left, they're so stupid, they're so ignorant, they're not even worth paying attention to. But we had that faction of people that were slamming Spo constantly. But now that he's proven it over time, like, okay, now they know, like, all right, I got to shut the hell up. That guy's a hell of a coach. They're done. So Chris Greer has to do the same thing Spo did. That's all. There's a whole bunch of people out there. They don't look at the 15, 20 years that he was at the Dolphins, and he must be giving good advice to people because if one regime after another keeps him, all the reports are there on record. They don't get erased. They can pull up your reports 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. They're all there. So nobody looks at that. But Joe Fan thinks, well, Chris Greer was part of this bad organization, so he must be bad. Why, dude? He's not the guy making the decisions. But you believe that's how this world is now. Whether it's fake news, whatever it is, people in discussions, they're not going to listen to the other side. They're going to believe whatever the hell they want to believe. Doesn't matter if there's proof. Doesn't matter if you patiently explain to them with logic. They will stay with their point of view, and it doesn't matter. That's how this world is now. That's how a lot of people are. And it goes for everything. And I saw it with Spo, and I would argue with people about now it doesn't happen anymore. Nobody calls in anymore, and nobody chimes in anymore. Nobody sends a tweet anymore. Spo is nobody does that anymore. Oh, yeah, we got to go. But Chris Greer's got to change that. Antonio Morales, let's talk a little Austin Jackson next.
Will reimburse payments up to a total of $1,800 based on purchase and MSRP on approved credit on select models. Excludes tax, tag, title, and includes $8.99 dealer fee. Offer ends 5/4/20. Toyota of Hollywood is open, and we're here to serve you. The safety of our customers and associates is our top priority. Toyota of Hollywood is following strict guidelines, including social distancing and keeping our facilities clean and sanitized. Buy with zero down, 0% APR financing, and we'll make your payments till 2021. Pay up to 50% less than their original MSRP when new and used. 2019 pre-owned Camry LE, not $27,000, $16,775. 2020 pre-owned Corolla LE, not $22,000, $13,775. Shop and save at our 400,000 square foot dealership at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2019 per SET, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
Welcome back. I promised you we're going to talk a little Austin Jackson, of course, out of USC, the man that was drafted 18th overall by your Miami Dolphins. And, of course, Antonio Morales. Mr. Morales covers USC for The Athletic. You can follow Antonio on Twitter at Antonio C. Morales. Antonio, good morning in your case. Good afternoon for us, but good morning, my man. How you doing in beautiful California?
Good. Just trying to stay safe out here. How you guys doing over there?
Very good, my brother. Same thing. We're trying to stay safe and see if we can, we think we're COVID-free, right? Because we have no idea, actually, right? That's kind of that's the screwed up part, Antonio. We have no idea if we're actually COVID-free, but we think we are. We'll see if we could get through this thing in the next couple of months and get life back to normal again. Let me ask you, before I get into Austin Jackson, what do you think happens with college football, my friend? Because now, I just read where there's a model in Italy that has been tested. I think it's 8 times she's failed. She has tested positive for COVID. She had the fever and all of that. She got rid of it. They sent her away from the hospital. They said, you got to, quarantine for 14 days. It's now 56 days in. She has tested positive 8 times already. She's still in quarantine because she's not sick. She has no symptoms, but she's a carrier. So we really don't have a grip on this thing completely. And pros are one thing, but college football, students, all of that, what you cover, what's the sense you get? Because I'm almost afraid like we may not even have a college football season. Antonio? Oh, I think we lost him here. We got let me see here. Let me get Bill back here in a second, and we'll get Antonio Morales on because obviously we have some technical difficulties here with Antonio, and so we'll try to get this fixed out and try to get him back on again. Hopefully, Bill will be back here in a minute, and we'll get it going, and we'll get Antonio back on again. If you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, it's 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, you can also reach out to me on Twitter. That's at Big O Show. We'll get Antonio back on again because, again, I'm really sorry about the technical snafu here. We'll get it fixed here. And we'll get Bill went to I think he went to the bathroom now, so I'm waiting for him to get back, and then we'll get this fixed here, and hopefully we'll get this going back in the right direction. Let's see. All right. Anyways, you gotta love live radio, man. Live radio. The good thing is when it's podcasted after. The person that comes in on podcasting, they have no idea what's going on unless they go back and listen to the show. And then they'll hear all, the mess ups and all that. But we'll get Bill back here, and then we'll get Antonio on again, and we'll get the interview going again. But, hey, things happen in live radio sometimes, and, you're trying to overcome some of these issues. And, it's just one of those things where we'll get things going again here, and we'll get Antonio back on the program, and Bill's working on it right now, and we'll get it going. But the guy or the woman that listens to this segment won't hear this part because it won't be podcasted. We'll get him on now. Boy, I need it. We good? Antonio, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, I'm sorry, bro. Sorry about the technical snafu there. So what I was telling you was, how are we going to handle this in college football? Because pros is one thing. You could do it without the fans and all of that, but college football wants the students also, all of that. And like I told you, there's an Italian model that has been testing positive now for 56 days. She's been in quarantine, and she has no symptoms anymore. And it's weird. So we don't really have a grip on this. What feelings are you getting from college football right now?
I think there will be a season. It's just a matter of when. Obviously, the student athletes can't come back until the students are allowed back on campus, and nobody really has an idea of when that will happen this fall. Cal State Fullerton out here, they don't have a football program, but they canceled. They didn't cancel. They moved everything to online classes for the fall. So, will other schools follow suit in that regard and move things online? Will they bring students back at a later date, maybe September, October? It's just a matter of when those students are coming back. And when students come back, I think you'll start seeing college football slowly kind of be brought back into the fold. But I think there will be a season. It's just a matter of if it's delayed start or even if it's moved to the spring. But college athletics basically needs a football season because it drives so much revenue.
Yeah, no, listen, obviously, all the other sports in each of the universities need football to come back because football is what feeds the other sports, obviously. So it's really important, and I get that. And when you look at the environment right now, do you hear anything about lawsuits? Because that's one thing that whenever they do come back, they have to be 100% certain that they're safe because obviously if you start putting kids at risk, you can risk also lawsuits as a university, correct?
Yeah, I think that's why some schools are being so conservative in terms of making their decisions and, trying to be risk averse in this situation. You have a school like Liberty that lets students come back and now they're getting sued because there's people who got sick. So I think schools have that in their mind and they don't want to be on the opposite end of lawsuits and things like that. So that's something they definitely have to weigh.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Antonio Morales, by the way, from The Athletic, joining us. You can follow Antonio on Twitter like I and so many others do at Antonio C. Morales. All right, Antonio, Austin Jackson got selected by the Dolphins yesterday at the number 18th pick. First of all, were you surprised where he went? Did he go right where you kind of expected when you look at Jackson?
He went kind of where I expected. I think the last week or so, everybody was kind of predicting him to go in the middle of the late first round. I think towards the end of the season, I expected him to go in the later part of the first round. But obviously, there's a big need on offensive tackles this year, so that kind of moved him up the board a bit. And there's obviously a lot of upside with Austin. It's just a matter of refining his skills now.
Yeah. Okay. So when I heard that the offseason he had to give bone marrow to his little sister, and that didn't allow him to really work out and be prepared for the season. But the kid sucked it up and played the whole season. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, of course. He had the procedure done this summer. And USC, they usually do their off-season workouts in June and July. But he basically missed all of those while he was donating that bone marrow. And he was limited in training camp, so he couldn't do everything in training camp right away. He couldn't, go full speed during some reps and stuff like that. And he was held out of a few drills. So he was limited in that. And his strength is kind of one of the biggest areas he needs to improve. And so he didn't have those 2 months, and he was still a good player. He's still a good athlete, but that strength is something, especially now that he'll be going against older players and grown men. Austin's such a young guy at 20 years old. He's still kind of growing into his skill set and growing into his body, and strength is going to be a key thing. And last year he didn't really get the opportunity to build on that in those 2 months.
Yeah, and well, I'm sure he'll get that opportunity now. He's going to have to do it, obviously, at the NFL level. From what I'm told, the athleticism is there, that he is a true left tackle and a guy that's got the athleticism to play in space. So any of those kind of defensive ends that are trying to do a lot of moves and spin moves and things like that, that he's quick to react to all of that. Talk to us a little bit about his footwork and his length and all of that at the position.
Yeah, there's still some technical things he needs to improve. I know his offensive line coach was talking about his punch and pass protection and how that needs to get better. You saw guys like A.J. Epinesa from Iowa who played against him in the Holiday Bowl. And I know Austin struggled a bit in that game just because Epinesa was able to take advantage of some technical issues in Austin's pass protection, whether it was his feet or his hands. And he was just a lot stronger than Austin, and it showed on film. So there's technical things. Austin still won some one-on-one battles, but Epinesa got the better of him that day. So it showed there's some technical things, mainly his punch and his feet and pass protection that need to improve. But he's such a good athlete. Sometimes it'll allow him to cover up for some of those technical issues. So there are things that need to get better. In the run game, he doesn't necessarily move guys off the line of scrimmage, but he's athletic enough to seal people off and get to the second level So the athleticism covers up for a lot of technical things he needs to refine.
Yeah, and again, a lot of the things that you're talking about has to do with strength and like punch and those kind of things. Now, at left tackle, you're not really road grading a lot. You're playing in a lot of space. You're playing against, the best athlete on the D line normally. So it's not really so much a situation where it's a power type game all the time. So he's going to need that athleticism. But you're right. When Epinesa gave him trouble, that's where he needs to improve in the weight room. And he's still a young guy. How durable has he been there at USC?
Yeah, he's been fine. I don't think he missed a game in his 3-year career. He was a part-time starter in 2017, then he became a full-time starter in 2018, and in 2019 he was fine. Even though he donated the bone marrow, he played in every game and he missed some of training camp, but he was still out there doing stuff. He's been pretty durable during his time at USC. It's never really been an issue for him.
So did he talk to you personally about how much the bone marrow took out of him?
He talked to us about it in the beginning of training camp, and he kind of he said obviously it impacted him a little, and he mentioned that he had to lay down in bed for like a week or so after it happened. But obviously, when something like that happens, you can't, you're not going to be at full strength. So he downplayed it a little, but obviously everybody kind of knew that it was going to take a while for him to recover. But I don't think he was less stronger than he was before after it. But he was strong. He was strong as he is, but obviously that needs to improve.
So who else do you expect to go tonight? Because I got to tell you, man, I would love Michael Pittman in a Dolphins uniform, and they've got a couple of picks here in the second round and another one in the third. I think receiver is one of those things they need to add along with running back. And you've got a guy there that you covered in Michael Pittman Jr. What do you think about that guy? Give us a little scouting report on Pittman.
I think Michael Pittman Jr. is great. He was a great player to cover these past few years. He's a guy who will do whatever it takes when he gets on the field. He came into USC as a highly rated 4-star guy, and he had to sit behind Deontay Burnett and Juju Smith-Schuster his first couple of years, but he didn't pout about it. He just went to work on special teams. He was an all Pac-12 special teams guy, whether it was kickoff coverage or blocking punts and stuff like that. And then his junior year came time for him to become a full-time player, and they played 4 quarterbacks over the past 2 years, and he excelled with all of them. There's some games he just refused to let USC lose, and he really put himself on the map this past year, and he put in a lot of hard work to get to where he is. So it's good to see Michael get the praise he has been lately and put himself in the position he's in.
That's a great nugget you just dropped now, that he excelled with every quarterback that was in there. And then, Antonio, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but when you said that, this is a guy that does whatever it takes and all that, it seemed like you had a smile in you. Is there a story you have, one of those stories when you talk about him going to any extreme to go out and win and those kind of things? Because it seemed to me there was a little smile in you, and it was something that reminded you of it.
Not necessarily, just the way he played against Utah, as USC was on their third string quarterback, and Utah was one of the best defenses in the country last year. And Michael Pittman had 10 catches for 232 yards, and obviously that was a big win for USC. And there was obviously the Colorado game where they were down by 10, and he had 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter to kind of lead them back to win. And selfishly, he was one of the better people in the media to talk to after the game. He was like the team's unofficial spokesman. So there may be some personal bias there with Michael Pittman, but he was just a really fun guy to cover and really good to talk to, a really humble kid. So obviously most people who have covered him are glad to see him where he's at.
Good stuff. I appreciate that. Antonio Morales, you can follow him on Twitter at Antonio C. Morales and catch his work there at The Athletic as he covers USC. Antonio, stay safe, my brother. Thank you for taking some time and talking a little draft. Enjoy the rest of the weekend, and be good out there in Southern Cal, baby.
All right, thanks. Likewise.
You got it. There you go, Antonio Morales, man. Good enough. Like it. Good stuff there with him joining us on the program to talk a little USC, which is a beautiful thing. I like this kid a lot, man. I really do. I think Pittman would be fantastic at 39. Okay? I don't know if he'll last any more than that. I don't think he'll be there for the other pick at, 56, right? I think. I don't think he lasts that long. No, 56. I don't think he lasts that long, to be honest with you. They got another pick at 70. Now, I like Zach Moss and Cam Akers. I think those guys will be available at 56. I don't think Pittman's available at 56. Or if you want to go McKinney at safety, I don't know if he'll drop all the way to 56, but at 39, you get a fork in the road. Question is Epinesa there? Is Green Matos there? Is what's it called? Pittman there? Is Xavier McKinney there? I mean, that's and when you think about it, you start at 33 and you get to 39. There's a nice selection of players there, running backs, everything, you name it. So you could get some of the top running backs at 39. Or you could get one of the top receivers that's left at 39. Or you might be able to get Ezra Cleveland at tackle. Or you might be able to get a defensive lineman. I love it. I love it! It's awesome. They have so many options. And there's a bunch of really good players at that spot. I mean, we're not used to this, man. It's a lot of fun. Now I know how the Patriot fans feel having all the extra picks every year. And my man picked up another fourth rounder yesterday, which is great. That's the question. Does he use any of these to trade down and get another one? Does he use the 70th pick to trade down a little bit? Because he could at 70. You could trade down a little bit, pick up another extra pick. You never know. And tonight, when we're on, we'll go over the players after they're taken. We'll foresight or forecast what's coming up and the players that are available. I got to tell you, man, this is a challenge. This is a big-ass challenge. I will not say a word till 7 o'clock tonight. I will be nice and quiet. Big O, what do we do with Rosen? What are you going to say? Nothing. He's there.
You're breaking your rule. You're talking right now there, sir.
He's backing up. That's what you do know that Rosen's the backup quarterback, right? And when you ask what do we do with Rosen, I don't think you really understand what just happened. Tua's not playing. If you want to listen to Lee Steinberg and you want to listen to Laura Rutledge, the mouthpiece on ESPN, you can go ahead and do that. Tua has no business on the field. I don't know if you know that. Rosen is your backup quarterback. If you get rid of him, you have no backup quarterback. Do you understand that? I think some of you think that they drafted Tua and he's going to play in September or something. He has no shot at playing in September. Just like you have no shot at trading for Deshaun Watson, just like you have no shot at trading for Joe Burrow. Like the stupid-ass stuff the fans come up with. I just want you to know that. Tua is not playing. Understand that. Okay? Let's see. I'm glad the Finns aren't playing safe. We've been too green with draft picks, as my friends say. When it goes with drafting, go big or go home. Get some lemon and honey. Get the honey, Junior. Big O, we can fill our gap between 70 and 134. We have no pick to fill that gap. Then worry about who's there. I'll give Greer an A+. Come on, O, you can tell me that. 7 p.m. secret. I'll tell you. I'll never tell. Rosen has to earn it to play this year. Exactly. This is all Fitz. The whole season pretty much is Fitz. Guaranteed. Rosen is the backup, but if Tua's medicals come into play, I hope not, then Rosen can show off his... Rosen is your backup, period. Tua's not playing at all. He's not in... He will be on the PUP list to start off the season. That's what they're going to do with him. That's the smart move. Tua needs to be rotated in by week 8. Jacques, not going to happen. Okay? At all. Will not happen. And he doesn't have to be. I'm sorry, Jacques. What's the hurry? You wait till the guy is held. You just had a hip surgery. You need to be a year removed from that. Let's get him in by week 8. Manny says, I love you, baby. We're going to own it tonight. Maldita sea coño. Long time coming. Big D confidence. There you go. Swing it, baby. Swing it. Big O, you mean we can't trade our 7th round picks for Pat Mahomes? Nope. Unfortunately. Nope. Maybe 6th rounder. Big O, nobody might be playing in the NFL this season. Yeah, you might be right there. I can't argue with that one. Mario says, trade the Colts un pan con croqueta for their 2 second-rounders. Exactly. A wimp-out, blind-ass fan alert. De La Ping Gonzalez. What else do we have here?
Blind-ass fan alert. Look out, everyone. We've got a blind-ass fan coming through.
Fix that O-line, and you're right. They do need to fix that O-line. I will say that. No doubt about it. That I will definitely give you. All right, let's do this. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back on the other side. We'll head down the home stretch for the final half hour. We may have a guest here. I'm trying to work it out. We'll see. If you want to get in and you got some questions, send them in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, 786-322-1105. It's a lot easier for me to find. Maybe I will get that super chat. I don't know. Let's take a quick break. Back with more right here on The Big O Show.
Excludes tax, tag, title, and includes $8.99 dealer fee. Offer ends 5/4/20. Toyota of Hollywood is open, and we're here to serve you. The safety of our customers and associates is our top priority. Toyota of Hollywood is following strict guidelines, including social distancing and keeping our facilities clean and sanitized. Buy with 0 down, 0% APR financing, and we'll make your payments till 2021. Pay up to 50% less than their original MSRP when new and used. 2019 pre-owned Camry LE, not $27,000, $16,775. 2020 pre-owned Corolla LE, not $22,000, $13,775. Shop and save at our 400,000 square foot dealership at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2019 per SET, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
All right. You know, I'm glad that we're going to have Tom Green on right now because he's the Auburn writer for AL.com. And maybe he can help me out with Noah a little bit because I'm struggling with the last name. So we're going to bring Tom on now. He does a great job of covering Auburn football. You can follow him on Twitter at Thomas_Verde, Verde. Tom, welcome aboard, sir. Good afternoon. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well. Glad to be on with you guys. It's nice to be talking with some South Florida people.
Yeah,
I'm from down there myself.
Nice. Where are you from, Tom?
Coral Gables.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm a Miami guy. So where'd you go to school?
College, I went to the University of Florida, but high school, I went to Mast Academy.
Oh, okay.
Down there in Key Biscayne.
Key Biscayne, yes. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Hey, aren't you the guys that had didn't they have that hurricane thing that right next to it or something like that? That thing that you would step in, it would be hurricane winds or something like that? Didn't they have something like that next to your academy or something, like some kind of a...
No, there used to be a museum there before the school opened. Yeah, the school opened on the same grounds that museum was at. But that was back in the early 90s, I think.
I remember I was always told about that, but I never went into that museum. I never checked that. So I don't even know if it was there or gone or what. Okay, so Mast Academy, that's interesting there. All right, Tom. So first of all, how do you pronounce Noah's last name again?
Igbinoghene.
Igbinoghene.
Yeah.
Igbinoghene. Okay. All right. Igbinoghene. All right. Anyway, so Noah gets taken. First of all, were you surprised he got taken at that point in the draft? Were you expecting him to get taken earlier or later on?
I thought he had a chance to be a late first-round pick just based on some people I'd spoken to in the last couple of months. His stock really seemed to be on the rise after he declared following his junior season. But I wasn't fully convinced that he was going to be a first-round pick. I thought that he was more likely to hear his name called today pretty early on. But I was certainly surprised when I saw the Dolphins take him because I didn't think that they were going to go with a cornerback there late in the first round after trading back. But yeah, so it did catch me a little bit by surprise to see him taken by the Dolphins. But I thought he had a chance of going late in the first round.
I want to bring up because I've got guys around the league that are scouts, and I usually ask them every year about breakdowns for some of these guys. Here's the breakdown for Noah. You tell me how much this scout is on target or off. Great kid, has a high ceiling. He's one of my favorite outside corners, but he will have to play nickel early to develop into a number one outside CB in the NFL. Aggressive all around the ball, very physical, and quick-triggered in the running game. Still developing his ball skills since he's a converted wide receiver. Slow to locate, but competitive. Time and reps is what he needs outside since he's a convert, and he doesn't back down. Hell of a nickel inside player to start. Great kid and pick. What was on, what was off for you in your opinion on that assessment?
I think that's actually pretty spot on. Starting off, like you said, he's a great kid. He comes from a really good family and an incredible pedigree. Both of his parents are former Nigerian Olympic track athletes. So he had a very strict upbringing, and he's very driven, has a very strong work ethic. And when he sets a goal for himself, he's going to go out and do it, which, I mean, just looking at him declaring for the draft after playing cornerback for just 2 seasons tells you all you need to know about this kid's drive. He signed with Auburn as a 4-star wide receiver coming out of high school. Really talented, just didn't get on the field much as a freshman outside of kick returns. Had a few people, offer out there that maybe he should consider playing defense just because Auburn had a need there at cornerback after his freshman season. He decided to go for it. Within 6 practices, he locked down a starting job.
Wow.
That's just how talented and this kid is. Like you said, he's raw, but he has a very high upside. Again, he's only been doing this for 2 years, but he's a physical corner. Sometimes he'll get called for pass interference. That happens sometimes at Auburn, but that's just because they play a very aggressive man press defense. But he's a competitor. He's got all the physical tools you want. It's just reps are what he's going to need to, really be that successful corner in the NFL. But I can definitely see him starting inside at nickel.
Yeah, I mean, my guy thinks he could end up being, one of them thinks he can be an outside guy, which, I was looking at him strictly as an inside guy. And, yeah, he's going to have to be now with Howard and Jones here. Obviously, they got 2 excellent corners on this team. And I love it because the slot guy is going to play about 70% of the time. So he's going to get a boatload of playing time in this league since they pass so much. When you talk about his – and I don't have a problem with aggressive nature. I want my corner to be aggressive overall. So talk to me a little bit about his work ethic because you talked about his parents. So how is he on the football field? How is he is he one of those gym rats, like they say?
Yeah, just to give you an idea, when he was at Auburn, he was still doing track and field and playing football. Track season around here is during the spring. Obviously, you got spring football up here, which is also very important that time of year. Auburn had a few players that were doing both sports. Noah was one of those guys that, even though he was participating in track, whatever he did, he made sure he was not going to miss football practice. He was going to do both and excel at both. And he's an incredibly talented long jumper and triple jumper, but to be able to balance that with spring practice, and this is while he was still, switching positions and learning the intricacies of playing cornerback too. So just being able to balance those really tells you a lot about his work ethic and just, his drive.
Yeah, I mean, how about as a returner? Talk to me a little bit, Tommy, about him as a returner, because that's another thing. As a kick returner, people like him also. How's his game in that area?
He's really dangerous. I mean, he's been Auburn's primary kick returner for all 3 years that he was in college. I believe he averaged something like 28 yards per return for his career. Didn't get as many opportunities this last season just because teams would kick away from him or, get a lot of touchbacks. But each of the last 2 seasons, he had a kick return for a touchdown. This year, he did it in his final game in the Outback Bowl against Minnesota down there in Tampa. But he's very dangerous, very explosive athlete. At the combine, he ran a 4.4840. His pro day, he improved it slightly at 4.47. So he's got some speed. He's not the rangiest of corners. He's only 5'10", a little bit compact, but he's just very explosive and just has raw athleticism.
All right. So one of the things that we talked about the ball skills, right? One of my guys says not always a natural feel, 1 career interception in 2018, but does get his hands on a lot of balls with pass breakups, 19 in the last 2 seasons. So talk to us about him. As the ball is in the air, it looks like the completion percentage is low, but he doesn't come up with a lot of turnovers. What's been his challenge, and describe a little bit his game there?
I think the challenge, like it's going to be for any player that kind of makes that change from offense to defense, is just kind of having to do everything in reverse. Obviously playing defensive back is more reacting to what the receiver is doing. He's admitted himself he still has room to grow there because he is still, learning all the ins and outs of the position. He's just been relying a lot on his own mental and physical capabilities to succeed there. But like you said, he's had 18, 19 pass breakups over 2 seasons. He led Auburn in that category as a sophomore when it was his first year playing the position. And so he knows how to locate the ball. It's just a matter of being able to adjust and maybe come up with some of those interceptions. But he's definitely a guy that when he can find the ball, he's going to battle for it. He might come up with the interception every now and then, but odds are he's going to get his hands on it in some way and just make it difficult for the receivers to come down with that reception.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Tom, so what do you miss most about South Florida, my brother?
What isn't there to miss? I mean, my family's still down there. Most of my friends are still down there. Love being near the water and, of course, Cuban food. Can't really get that up here in Alabama where I'm at, so definitely miss all that.
No Cuban food in Alabama, dude? Come on.
At least not in my part of Alabama. So I definitely miss that, but I love it every time I can get back down there. It's been a few months since I've been down there. Hopefully, this whole coronavirus situation can get behind us sooner rather than later, and I can get back home and see some friends and family down there.
There you go. Mast Academy, South Florida's own Tom Green. You can catch him at AL.com. Follow him on Twitter. He's a South Florida guy, baby. Thomas_Verdi. Tom, thank you for taking some time, my man. I really appreciate it, and we all appreciate the insight. Good stuff.
My pleasure. Y'all take it easy.
You got it. There you go. You know what it is to go to Auburn, and in 6 practices you take over the starting job at corner? That's the SEC, dude. That's crazy. Hey, Bill, do me a favor. Call this gentleman right here, right now. Right there. No, on your phone, buddy. Not on mine. Let's get him on the air. We got one more interview coming your way. We'll have a little fun here with this interview and doing something really good for the community. So I definitely want to talk a little bit with this. But that was great insight there. I mean, 6 practices, the kid takes over. And I read a little bit of another one of my scouts talking about the ball skill stuff and the stats. And it's good to know that, okay, he's not getting as many turnovers as he can, but he's getting the pass deflected. So you're keeping the completion percentage down. You're not getting burned in the process. Of course, you want more and more turnovers, but, if you're going to get the ball hawk, it probably is not going to last to the 30th pick in the draft. You know what I'm saying? So that once you get to the 30th pick, that corner will probably, it's not Okudah. If you want Okudah, you got to go in the top 5. So there you go. We ready with Tito? We got him? All right. Tito is ready to go. Tito, you there, baby?
Yes, sir.
How you doing, my friend?
All right.
All right. I love to hear that. And Tito is a part of Adopt a Box. We talked a little bit about this tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. at Jose Marti Park at 351 Southwest 4th Avenue. They're going to start the distribution. The drive-through instructions are there. You can check it out. You can go to facebook.com/adoptaboxfl. It's all there. If you want to help us out, you have a gofundme.com/adoptaboxfl also to check it out. So, Tito, talk to us a little bit about this as we're helping out some residents and taking care of them and giving them some food in these trying times.
Yeah, this is a trying time, guys. Hopefully everybody could come on out tomorrow and of course go to the GoFundMe page and help out. I'm glad that we got this opportunity to help South Florida residents and families that are in need. This whole thing is kind of tough. You know, we're all quarantined. They've been calling me Quarantito lately. So it's a little tough, but I hope that I could get the word out with you guys and Big O and everybody. Get the word out that Adopt a Box is doing a fantastic thing for the families that are in need. A big box of produce for $25, and a family of 4 could get fed. And it's from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. tomorrow at Jose Marti Park, right in downtown Miami. Hopefully everybody could come on out, get out of the house for a little while, and then, of course, pick up some food for families that are in need over at Jose Marti Park.
And the distribution point, by the way, on Southwest 4th Avenue, heading north in front of Jose Marti Park. So make sure you go in that area, because I guess they want it down that street instead of 8th Street, because then that would cause a little bit of a mess. Right? If I'm picturing right, it's the street that's right next to it that runs along adjacent to it.
Well, I would hope that everybody knows the traffic route, and even if you're coming on a scooter or a bicycle, go that way.
Right, exactly. And Tito, let's talk a little bit of how people can help you. So just in case for folks out there that are a little bit more comfortable right now and they're willing to help out others, they can donate to create more opportunities for other people to get fed. How do they do it?
Right. That's really the key to all this is everybody donating $5, $10, whatever you can. $25 gets a box of produce for the families that are in need. And these are all the local farmers here in South Florida. We're having a tough time, too, throughout this whole entire COVID-19 and coronavirus event. But I think getting the word out is really key, and have everybody go over to the GoFundMe.com page, /AdoptABoxFL, and you guys can donate right there. They've raised over $50,000 last week. We hope we could top that this week and helping out these families that are in need. It's kind of tough, man. There's no jobs out there, including myself as a local musician and actually international musician, even worldwide. I have concerts all over the world, and those are all, of course, postponed or either canceled. So we're all in the same boat. But I feel like it's more important that the local people that in my community get fed, and this is a great opportunity for them to be fed through the help of Adopt a Box Florida.
Tito, why don't you tell people what your last name is so they really know who you are?
They don't know who it is. My name is Tito Puente Jr. I'm the son of the Latin king Tito Puente. Those of you who might know of him as the Mambo King or El Rey de Timbal, very popular musician of the 1950s and 60s. And it's the 20-year anniversary this year of his passing. And his birthday was this past week, as a matter of fact, 97. He would have been 97 years old. And I continue his legacy by performing his music around the world. So I encourage everybody to pick up some food or help donate and then listen to some Tito Puente music. I promise your day will go much better listening to a little bit of Oye Como Va or some mambo music.
Yes, definitely the Mambo King, no doubt about that. So listen, I'm a concert fanatic, so I can't wait to get music back, man. But when are we going to get back to that? Because I've talked about this story a couple times on the show. I just read where there's an Italian model that has tested positive 8 times. She had the fever, all of that. She got rid of it. They sent her home from the hospital. They told her quarantine for 14 days. She's been at it for 56 days now and tested positive 8 times. So, this whole thing about 14 days may not be we may not be free of it sometimes from 14 days. I'm wondering when we're going to get our lives back, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's kind of tough, and I encourage everybody to keep that 6 feet distance, wear a mask, wash your hands, and I got small children too, so I kind of keep them home locked down. Of course, they're going crazy, climbing the walls, but I find little entertaining things for them to do, and we want everybody to stay safe. And if you know of other people who do have it, by all means, get tested, man. It's real important to get tested to make sure you don't spread this. That's the whole thing to avoid all of this. Try to stay home. Definitely quarantine yourself and try to stay home so you can avoid the horrible stories such as the one you just said about this lady who ascertained the virus. Very, very hard times right now, but I encourage everybody to just keep the quarantine going, and we'll all come out of this at the end, and hopefully some live music will come out of this. I think the big concerts as far as stadiums and stuff like that might take a little while longer to get back to, but hopefully live music in the outdoor arena fashion might work a little bit better, simply because the virus has a harder time of surviving outside in warm weather, I believe, according to what we're being told. But hopefully that'll all come to an end as the summer comes into play, and we can get some these small little live music going on. I think music helps everybody throughout this whole entire event. This pandemic is very hard on the minds of most people, and music has been getting everybody through. Most of these concerts have been virtual concerts, and hopefully we can start doing those, and maybe even some live ones for some people to really enjoy themselves again.
I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. But tomorrow, folks, this is your chance. If you need some help, we're going to be distributing some great food out there to take care of you. And by the way, this money that you're donating, if you can donate to help out, we're buying these fruits and vegetables from our farmers here. We're not going abroad. So we're helping our local farmers who need the help. So really, there's synergy behind all of this, from the people that are donating to the people that are receiving. And in the end, also the people that are growing it, we're helping them out too. So it's just a circle of satisfaction overall in these tough times. So if you can, tomorrow, Jose Marti Park, starting at 9 a.m. at 351 Southwest 4th Avenue. If you can donate, please go to GoFundMe.com/AdoptABoxFL for Florida. Tito Puente Jr., kind enough to join us. Tito, I appreciate you, my brother. You are awesome for doing this, and thank you for sacrificing your time to help others. That's huge, my man.
Big old thank you, man. Quarantito. Guys, stay safe. I love each and every one of you. Donate. Adopt a Box. FL, please. Thank you.
You got it. There you go.
All right, boss.
Tito, you got it, baby. Be good. Tito Puente Jr., Quarantito. There you go. Gotta love it, man. All right, good stuff by Tito Puente Jr. And if you can tomorrow, go do it, man. All right? Really, that'll help out. I just got a notice. Tomorrow I'm on Sirius on Mad Dog 8 to 11 before the draft. It's crazy. I do 2 radio shows every day right now for the last 3 days. What's it called? I'm on 8 to 11. Adam Kaplan, who's a really good draft insider, he's going to join me between 10 and 11. He's going to be co-hosting with me. So we'll be on solo 8 to 10, and then we'll do Adam Kaplan at from 10 to 11. So we'll go talk about all kinds of things tomorrow on the program. Looking forward to it. If you have a Sirius Mad Dog, or if you have Sirius Satellite, tomorrow on Mad Dog Channel 82, I'll be on between 8 and 11 in the morning, like we've been on every Saturday here over the last few weeks here. So if you want to catch us, we'll be there. And I'm sure it'll be NFL draft heavy, especially after we complete rounds 2 and 3 tonight, which is going to be very interesting. Do they take Nate Stanley? Do they take James Morgan, Anthony Gordon, Kevin Davidson, Jake Luton? Do they take another quarterback after drafting Tua? Where do they go for another position player? Do they go Epinesa? Do they go Gross Matos at defensive end? Do they go Michael Pittman at wide receiver? Do they go Denzel Mims from Baylor? Do they go DeAndre Swift? Do they go Taylor? Do they go Dobbins, Akers, Moss, Delpit, McKinney? There's so many options for the Dolphins tonight. And at 39 and 56, they will get opportunities to fill some very important needs. So I'm looking forward to the broadcast tonight. We will be on right around 6:50, a couple minutes before the 7 o'clock draft kicks on. We appreciate all of you for tuning in. We appreciate all of you for supporting us like you do. You guys are absolutely awesome. We're going to wrap it up here at Craig Zinn's, Acura, Pembroke Pines. We thank Bill, of course, and Philippe. Excellent work by them. We will see you tonight for the draft. We'll be back tomorrow for the draft again at noon. So we'll have some fun with all of that. You guys be good out there and be safe. Take it easy.
This is the big